Hi everyone, how are we doing? Okay, so what is happening here? Yeah, great. Good afternoon, good morning everyone. How are we doing? We've got a couple of minutes, so you've got time to have a coffee. Um, and then in the meantime, if you had any questions around last week, then please type that into the chat box. And also make sure that you've got coffee next to you, because I might promise to you that today's lesson is not the easiest lesson. Okay, so we are kind of lining up to the financial departments. So we're gonna, there are some techniques which I kind of use in financial astrology, but we can also use them in a natal chart as well. So probably 85–90% of you will be unfamiliar with these concepts because it's typically business astrology. So yeah, so get ready that you're gonna spend the next 3 hours. It's only 15 slides today, so only 15 slides, but this is gonna be an intense 15 slides. I kind of promise that. I don't want to scare anyone, just making sure that you are ready for that. So get your coffee if you need to wake up. You indicated in the last lecture that when moon aspects Chiron, depression issues might be present. Is that the case even if the aspects are a trine or a sextile? Yeah, trine and sextile are kind of unreliable in that sense. So sometimes I find the trine and the sextile a little bit more dangerous actually when it comes to depression, because an opposition definitely is something which is dangerous because we don't regard our problems as a problem. With sextile and trine, oh yeah, I deal with it, no an issue, right? With opposition, I don't have any. So there is an element of a denial with that. So I like seeing squares and conjunctions when it's more obvious and the person knows about it. Great. Oh, I love the bring it on part. So I'm happy to see that some people are excited about challenges. Did we have any other questions at all? We've got just maybe a couple of minutes. I don't think everyone is here. So no other questions? No? Once, twice, a third? Okay. So let's get started then. So, so what I want to be talking to you about today is you will yeah, sorry, the first assignment I'm gonna start doing them tomorrow. Unfortunately, I had an operation just before eclipse, and it didn't go according to plans, of course. So I'm trying to kind of reserve my energies. So I only do the bare minimum what I have to, and I chose not to look at the assignments, but I'm gonna start doing them tomorrow. I feel a little bit stronger. While this eclipse happened on my moon and Jupiter, and moon is the body, and Jupiter is the first house ruler in my chart. So yeah, so it didn't necessarily go according to plans. I was expecting something, but I wasn't expecting this, to be frank. Like, anyway, so it was my choice. So it's okay. So yeah, the problem is that even like I can't really sit for too long. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of you know, I'm trying to just, yeah, anyway. So I'm fine anyway, so it's all right. So what was I going to say? So yeah, so I'm gonna start by Wednesday. I think I'm gonna give some evaluation on your stuff. Actually, I read all of them. I just didn't really reply to the email. And one of the reasons why I kind of decided to look at the decans today a little bit more Because what I've noticed, most of you, even though you work with the decans, but didn't really look at the ruler of the decan, which I think it's a huge mistake. And what I kind of never saw with any of your assignment was that no one really looked at the sun sign, right? And what we said was that the midheaven needs to be combined with your sun sign as well, right? So if I have got a Sagittarius midheaven and the sun is in Aquarius, somehow I have to bring them together, because the sun, the midheaven is the highest point of the chart, right? So that's the midday part. And that's where the sun would be at midday, right? So of course, the sun and the midheaven together is one of the major indication of your career matters. And I feel like maybe this was one of the reasons why plenty of you did not mention some of the right fields. I think I only saw a couple of you mentioning that the sun and the midheaven combination brings this and that into the picture, but that's okay. You know, it's not a biggie. Just don't forget about, because the sun is your life mission. That's your karmic contract. You signed up to actually fulfill your sun, which is your last kind of destination of your life. That's where I need to get to, right? From a vocational point of view and from a life purpose point of view as well. And of course, if I do my sun sign, which kind of equals with your midheaven, as we learned, then I'm going to be able to achieve a kind of an easy success. So that's one of the feedback I would like to give you as general. I was pretty much missing that. I think I only saw that from two, maximum 3 people out of I think there was about 25 assignments. Okay, so in the future, make sure you align that. Okay, great. And in that homework example, you know, we had an Aquarius element. And everyone, okay, technology, and that's all good. Well, we got stuck there. So, and we looked at the ruler, which was brilliant. You guys did 99% of the job. We just left out one of the most important one. And maybe that was my fault because I did not emphasize that enough. But I would like you to focus on that a lot more. And because that gentleman had a Pisces sun, right? So how can I bring together the Pisces and the Aquarius energy? So some invention, Aquarius, in medical fields, for instance, right? Or some humanitarian causes through spirituality. So we should have seen some of those elements as well. So anyway, I will reply to everyone's email in the next few days. So sorry about that. Great. Brilliant. So, and next week, I'm going to give you a new assignment anyway. So lesson 8, and we're going to finish all these vocational profiling. So next week, there will be a new assignment. And then after we drive into the financials big time, and we're going to start looking at planetary lines and so forth. Okay, so one another thing, so this lesson today is more like a little bit of a chipping in the additional type of elements, what we haven't covered, but I feel like in many cases it's very important. So today we're going to be speaking about dispositor. We're going to be talking about planetary nodes, and no, we are not talking about the lunar nodes. We're talking about planetary nodes. We're going to speak about the heliocentric approach, because I feel like that's very powerful. And we're going to speak about the dwods as well, which is, anyway, I find it very powerful. So I'm going to show you today. The reason, so I'm going to show you today. Great. So let's get started. Firstly, we want to be looking at the dispositor. So what is dispositor? Basically, the dispositor, well, it really got hot somewhere in the 16th century. Moran wrote actually a book about it. I don't necessarily recommend reading it because it might not be the easiest reading material. And he pretty much looked at how to analyze the ascendant. But this is going to be somehow the step with every single stuff as well. So the midheaven. So he really looked at the dispositor of, let's say, the midheaven. So what does that mean? So first of all, let's say I bring up a chart. Oh, that's sorry from the previous lesson. So let's bring up my chart. Maybe let me bring up here as well, because that might be a little bit more visible. Great. And let me take out that synastry. Brilliant. Okay, so here you go. So here is my chart, and let me take out all the asteroids as well. We don't need them today. Yes, great. Okay, so what we're looking at here is that let's suppose I want to find out what Mercury's dispositor. So of course, Mercury rules something to do with the 7th house. It's something to do with the 4th house, right? So I'm going to start analyzing it. And this is what we call in astrology as like a Mercury complex, right? So what does the complex mean? I'm going to be looking at the house position first, what area of life it affects the most. I'm going to be looking at the sign position, how it's going to be affecting. I'm going to be looking at the planetary players, basically the aspects, right? Who else is kind of influencing this situation? And finally, you always must look at the dispositor. In this case, I mean, the dispositor is the ruler of the planet. So let's say I'm analyzing the 7th house cusp. So the 7th house is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in the sign of Capricorn. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So that's also kind of a relationship planet in the chart. Okay, because I'm looking at the Mercury from a relationship point of view. Of course, if I looked at the midheaven is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in its own sign. So that's a lot more straightforward. There is no dispositor there to check. Right? So that's what the dispositor means. Now, there is going to be some rules in regards to the dispositor. So firstly, Moran says, and the reason why I want you to kind of embrace this, because I completely agree with every single thing what he said. Moran says that it becomes the secondary ruler of that element. And, oh yeah, sorry. Did I not put that down? I wanted to. Yeah, okay. So anyway, that becomes the secondary ruler of whatever you check in. And in modern astrology, we tend to be calling that as dispositor. Now, the dispositor always gonna show you the outcome of the situation. So let me give you an example here. So I think I put here Angelina Jolie. So what we see here is that her ascendant is ruled by Cancer, and the ruler of the ascendant is Moon in the 10th house, right? And the dispositor of the Moon is Mars, because Mars rules Aries, right? So what happens here is that Mars is the secondary ruler of the ascendant. So straight away you would say that, oh, Moon is not necessarily that great position, for instance, in the sign of Aries. So that might be bringing in a little bit of a trouble there. However, Mars is extremely well placed, because by essential dignity, by house position, by essential dignity, by accidental dignity, it's extremely strong. So the ruling planet of any planet kind of talk about the outcome of that area of life. So let's say I want to be looking at her career. Well, the career is ruled by Mars here also, so it might not be that exciting, right? But I'm looking at another example. So we've got Brad Pitt here. So let's say I want to be looking at the dispositor here of L10. Well, L10 is ruled by Mercury, which is in the second house. So what does it mean? I can make success through building some financial kind of tower. Now, you should know that Brad Pitt actually didn't make money from acting. He made money from his businesses. So that's where his money really comes from. I'm sure the acting helped a lot, but he has got hotel businesses. He's got plenty of businesses going on, and they are going extremely well. Now, the dispositor of that Mercury is Saturn. And what I see is that Saturn is in the third house. So it kind of indicates to us that he definitely can make money through his career by investing into businesses, which is a third house, business transactions. Yes, of course, I can invest into writing and publishing and whatever the third house type of energy talks about. So kind of like you might want to remember that the dispositor of your midheaven ruler also impacts your career choices, but that's more about the outcome. So if it's a strong planet, usually it ends up very nice career. If it's not so much of a strong planet, that could show trouble in your career, right? So you would need to somehow like count the points, the essential accidental dignity points, what we learned around week 2 or 3, right? But the outcome seems to be quite nice here. So you might want to be remembering that the ruler of any of the points, it starts the action, but eventually the dispositor takes over. And the dispositor is going to be the one which is finishing the action. So that's kind of like the final say. Now, there is a little bit of a debate around Morin's work because Morin says we only need to check one dispositor. There are other astrologers who say that we need to take it further. So let's say if Saturn was in Pisces, then I would need to look at Jupiter as well. For simplicity reasons, I recommend what Morin said, just look at one dispositor. So the ruler of the midheaven is Mercury. Mercury is in Capricorn, and Saturn is in the third house. So his job is going to be second, third house related. So some type of investment, maybe into business transactions, sales, and whatever that third house could be talking about. Okay, so that's one thing I really kind of wanted to share with you today. So, so we're going to look at just a couple of examples here. Let's bring up. So I think, okay, yeah. Do we have any questions over that? Do you consider emceeing if it's in 29 some minutes still to current sign or to the next? 29 degrees, 29 degree. We don't count it to the next sign ever. So it's not the next sign. However, always be suspicious about 29 degree. Just because the timing of birth is not accurate. Can you explain a bit more about Yod? Is it working only between planets or also in case of bigger asteroids and points? Yod is not really about vocational matters. So we're not really going to be speaking about, Andra, unfortunately, about Yods. Yeah, sorry. Yod is not really our topic. Great. So, okay, so let's have a look at a couple of examples, right? So let's say I want to look at, I'm going to look at George Clooney's chart. So, okay, let me take out the things here too. Customize. Okay, why is my screen frozen? Oh yeah, here, okay. Brilliant. I'm just gonna simplify it. So yeah. Okay, so who would like to give a go and have a look? So Helen wants to have a look. Brilliant. Helen, unmute, please.
Sorry, I'm not good at this.
But you raise your hand.
I thought I was lower my hand. Oops.
Okay, no, well, it was a divine moment, so it's your chart. So let's look at the midheaven.
Yes, it's in the 10th house.
Yeah, what sign?
Capricorn.
That's not Capricorn.
No.
No.
Why not?
So what sign do we have on the midheaven, Helen?
Oh, Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Okay, so what does Sagittarius need to be good at?
Nature.
Sagittarius is nature. That's not the most important one.
No. I'm too nervous.
Don't be nervous. You are here to practice. You are here to learn. So no one is going to laugh at you.
No, I
So
know.
what's Sagittarius mission statement? We need to learn some of these keywords, right?
Yes.
Okay, so revisit them because this is very important. Monica? Unmute, please.
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. So some of the characteristics he needs to embody is like this larger than life, enthusiastic, passionate, and he's good at motivating people. Sagittarius goes for larger audiences, like preaching and teaching and being the philosopher in some way.
Exactly. So that's kind of like one word is a teacher archetype. It doesn't mean we need to become a teacher, but it's a teacher archetype, right? So somehow I need to reach an audience who I can teach in one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So where is the ruler?
So Jupiter is in Aquarius. So do I just skip the decan for this?
Yeah, we can look at the decan, but I want to focus on the dispositor a little bit.
Yes.
So let's have a look at Jupiter. Where is Jupiter?
Yeah, so Jupiter is in Aquarius, 12th house.
Okay, so how does that add to our mission?
Yeah, so the 12th house, that could actually be behind the scenes, and that's not really where he is.
Oh, it's very true. 12th house appears in actors and public figures charts quite a lot. Why is that? Because they step into other people's shoes.
Okay, interesting.
So you don't really know, that's a creative house. You don't really know anything about them because they are playing a role, right?
Exactly. So they're just behind the mask or I see. Interesting. Yeah, and also I guess is the 12th house also related to movies or television, or is that more Neptune in itself?
Yeah, that's a movie house. Absolutely. Like, yeah, something because the movie gets shot. I mean, it's recorded somewhere in the behind the scenes, but not even because of that. The most important explanation is that I am doing something which is not really me. I'm just portraying something.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why it's a very artistic house.
Yeah. And then it's in Aquarius, so it's some kind of unique style over it. I mean, Aquarius represents freedom and equality, and it's like, joins with like-minded people.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so being somehow like creating that community type of things for ourselves. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. Now, I want to know whether my career is going to play out very well or not. So it's good to be looking at the dispositor.
Yeah,
What's going to be the dispositor here?
that's going to be Saturn.
That's going to be Saturn. And is
And
Saturn
Saturn is
strong in this chart
really,
or not so strong?
Saturn is really strong in this chart, being in its own domicile.
Yeah.
So it's in oh, I missed the word Capricorn, of course, 11th house.
Yeah. So it's pretty strong, right? So this is a good statement of maybe with that Jupiter, which is a little bit weak in this chart, peregrine, in a crappy house, we can start with a little bit like, we can start kind of like a rocky journey, right? But, and it took him almost 30 odd years to actually become successful. So he was born in 1961. He really broke through in 1994 when actually he was playing like a doctor, medical drama role. How interesting that Jupiter is in the 12th house, right?
Very
We
interesting.
talk about doctors. And then, but Saturn could show that my career plays out quite nicely.
I think it's very interesting to see that the moon is conjunct Saturn, and that I wouldn't normally interpret that as something really positive for being loved, but I mean, yes.
Well, maybe it's an emotional toll on his career, so it could have his challenges, of course.
Okay.
We would need to look at what moon rules. So moon rules the 5th house. Maybe the dating life is struggling with that. Maybe the relationship department is struggling.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
he has been married, but between 1993, that's when his marriage ended, and he became successful in 1994. So
yeah.
and then he only got married in 2014 next. So there was 20-year gap in the relationship department.
And I see this comment from Monica, which is absolutely true. It's like the moon loves Capricorn, so that helps, I would imagine.
Yeah, and the moon is not all bad. It has got some dignity as well. But anyway, that's not necessarily important for us, right? And of course, it could talk about issues with the children as well. But we're not going to go into that so much in depth because actually it's not important for us. We just wanted to look at some of the outcomes, right? And Saturn is actually very strong. Okay, thank you. So looking at one more example before we move on, let's have a look at Britney Spears then. So hands up. Yeah, Tyra, go ahead.
Okay, so the midheaven is Cancer, in Cancer, ruled by the moon, which is in Aquarius.
Yeah.
And so the dispositor is Saturn.
Yeah.
Which is in the 1st house.
Yeah. And what sign? How does that Saturn feel?
It's Libra. I think Saturn is exalted in Libra. Oh, yeah.
Exaltation. So that shows an extreme success. But remember, with exaltations, as successful we become, we tend to be falling down as well, big time. So exaltation is gives us a tremendous amount of success, but after that, we might not be able to deal with it. But that's the danger with exaltation.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. But yeah, that Saturn looks good. So that could also talk about some of the career kind of opportunities, what she might be having. And of course, it might be talking about acting, right? Because 5th house or somehow staging. And clearly that Saturn in the 1st house adds an additional layer to it because I'm going to be using my body as well. Now, she didn't necessarily use her body, but she used her baby voice, right? And that was one of her unique kind of feature. Now, what's interesting about this, I listen to her, I take singing lessons. And I go twice a week and I love singing. So we were speaking with my vocal coach about Britney Spears. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't think she is talented. But that's my opinion. Don't throw stones at me. Because anyway, and she was like, did you hear her sing when she was a child? I was like, no, but I don't think I want to. So she showed me, and she sang brilliantly when she was about 8, 9 years old. She was so bloody talented. But of course, the music industry somehow kind of ruined her in that sense, because singing on baby voice continuously is just not really good for the voice. Right? And when you look at that Libra, it does give an element of something to do with the vocal cords, because that's a Venusian energy, which rules somehow artistic talents.
Yeah.
Right? And then we can see that when I even look at the dispositor of that Saturn, which also has got a mutual reception, by the way, with Venus, but that's in Capricorn. So the voice will deteriorate, clearly.
Why it deteriorate? Because Saturn or Capricorn is related to something
Going wrong, yeah.
like draining. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
But and then the exaltation kind of shows us that too. Okay, brilliant. So great. Let's see one more last chart. Let's see Prince Harry, I mean. I don't necessarily like Prince William's chart. Where is Harry? Harry Prince, here you go. So let's see, Mahera, go ahead.
All right, good morning. So he's got his MC in Scorpio, second decan in the 11th house. So we're looking for Mars, which is in the 12th house in the sign of Sagittarius. And so Jupiter would be the dispositor.
Yeah.
Which is right there in the first house. So I think he's gonna succeed eventually.
Yeah, maybe it takes time, but how does that Jupiter feel?
Well, in Capricorn, let me look at my chart.
Look at the essential dignity. It's right next to it.
Oh, thank you. It's hard for me to read on the screen, but so the Jupiter is not so happy.
Not so happy, yeah.
With essential dignity, although I guess with accidental dignity being in the first house, it gets a little bit more.
Yeah, it gets some strength, and then we would need to look at aspects and part of fortune. We can see we've got a part of fortune, trying that a little bit wide. Anyway, we would give these points. We know that with Jupiter, it's about 5 degree. I think we look at with part of fortune. So it's a little bit wide, but I leave that with you, whether you give points to that or not. But, you know, overall, this Jupiter is by essential dignity. It's not too great, but there is some accidental dignity to it. Yeah, so accidental dignities sometimes are being at the right place at the right time type of things, and it can bring us some type of success. So
it looks like through study, he'll be able to strengthen whatever he's working with. Like he has to do some learning.
Yeah. To be frank, in my opinion, one day he's gonna become a king. That's really my opinion. In one way or another, he's gonna get forced to do that. Okay. That's my gut feeling, but I think he's gonna be about 40, mid-40s. Okay. Well, let's see. We'd speak about this in 10 years' time.
Okay.
That was right. Okay, thank you. Great. So this is the dispositor. So one more time, the dispositor, the ruler actually starts the action, then it kind of gets handed over to the next planet, and that kind of finishes the action. So that's going to be something which I would like you to consider at least to see, especially when they are asking, how successful can I be in my career? In that matter, that could be actually extremely important. And of course, you know, we looked at the strongest planet. So let's say Mercury is the strongest planet here, right? But let's say if Mercury was in Leo and the sun is in a crappy position, I'm not going to tell them, you know, do the Mercury type of position, because, you know, at the end of the day, the outcome of that is very sunny in Virgo, which is not necessarily the greatest energy. Sun in Virgo is peregrine, and on top of that, we also have got that sun in Caden house as well. So just continuously falling from power. So maybe I wouldn't give that suggestion. But if I'm looking at Mercury, which is actually strong and it's in rulership, yeah, accidental dignity is not the greatest, but it has got a conjunction to part of fortune. So my idea would be to him somehow business related matters in international countries. And maybe I would be saying that Mercury rules your sixth house, it rules your north node, do some type of service industry to others, right? That would be one of our suggestion. Or maybe ninth house, you can do export import related matters as well. And of course, you're going to look at that Mercury complex. What type of aspect does it have? Right, so I see that there is a Jupiterian trine. So again, somehow we've got Jupiter, right? So maybe with the 12th house, it's overseas countries. So that might be bringing me some type of element of a luck. Or Jupiter, it rules the third house, or something social media or technological stuff, or whatever that third house indicates. Okay. Brilliant. So, and of course, I want to be looking at, as we said, the dispositor as well. Okay, do we have any question around dispositor whatsoever? Yeah. While we see the house position of a dispositor, like 1 in the 8th house, yeah, we look at the house position as well, and then you're gonna integrate that into your reading as well, of course. So sign and house position. Do you even go further back? I'm not too sure, Monica, what you mean by that. So you look also the dispositor houses, he rules. No, I don't necessarily look at that. Just look at the house position, where it is and what sign. Like dispositor of the dispositor, no, I don't look at that. Step 5 and 6 both say moon. Can you? No, it's just one moon. Sorry, I saw that. I don't know why I wrote twice moon. I'm gonna delete that. Great. So it's just one moon. Oh yeah, because I wanted to write not moon but sun. So we wanted to write sun there and not moon. Okay, great. So moving on. Now, I just made a little bit of a note around blockages to career. We spoke about this. We're not going to spend more time on this. So we wanted to look at any planets around IC. Where is the ruler of the IC? Closest negative aspect to the IC or to the ruler of the IC. Chiron aspect, Saturn aspects, and L12 ruler in aspect to midheaven complex or second house complex. And does anyone hate the midheaven ruler? Now, that's the only one which I have to speak to you about. But the rest of them you should be familiar with. When you do a consultation, how I would build up your reading is that, and probably maybe the next assignment, actually we might do that live. So we might be booking in just 15 minutes to everyone when you can share your thoughts so that I can actually see your way of thinking. So when you have got a client, I would ask, okay, what do you do at the moment? And they're going to tell you that, let's say, I'm a bookkeeper, right? So you start looking at the chart. Okay, do I see any evidence of the bookkeeping? And then after, I might be giving them a kind of like a suggestion, what type of work I can imagine for them. And of course, you're going to be listing at least 10, 15. And believe me, they're going to hang up on one of them. So they're going to get caught up on one of them. Yeah, I know. I love that. I just never really kind of thought that I should be doing that, right? But I would always look at the blockages to the career. Why? Because if they don't fix the blockages to career, they're never going to be successful anyway. So we learned about the planet around the IC, which is telling you what we learned from our parents, what is kind of in our DNA, which is burnt into our blood cells or fat cells, if you like it. And same with the ruler of the IC, right? And looking at, does anything have an aspect with the ruler of the IC? Maybe a negative aspect. We spoke about Chiron last week. We spoke about Saturn as well last week. We said that Saturn and Chiron are pretty similar in that sense. And very similarly to the 12th house ruler as well. So does that 12th house ruler has got an aspect to the midheaven, to the second house, to the second house ruler, to the midheaven ruler, or even to the decan ruler? Because if there is a decan ruler problem, there is going to be some problem in the career as well anyway, right? Now, lastly, which we didn't speak about, and probably you're not going to see this anywhere in textbooks. This is kind of like Victor's like invention in astrology. But what I usually do is I go on the essential dignity table. Let's say my career planet is Jupiter, right? Because it's the ruler of my midheaven. So I tend to be looking at if someone hates Jupiter. So what does it mean? Does anyone put Jupiter into detriment or fall? Now, what we see here is that Jupiter is only hated by one planet, which is Mercury. Mercury can become a potential problem in my chart for career aspirations, because Mercury hates my Jupiter, right? So I would be looking at, okay, where is Mercury? What does Mercury rule? So Mercury is Capricorn in the 11th house, and it rules the 7th, and it rules the 4th house. So hands up, what type of blockages can we have if we just look at that Mercury? Hands up. Yeah. Diana, go ahead.
Hi, I think it would be your partners, your spouse, your partners, or your parents, your home life.
Yeah, so
possibly.
definitely the IC ruler, right? So somehow the upbringing or something which is burnt into my DNA could be a significant issue, or partnership. Maybe all the love drama which might surround me is just causing a significant issue in my work life as well, right? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Any other idea at all? Someone else? Adam, go ahead, unmute.
Hi, my idea with the 4th house, that maybe the country where you live in.
Country where you live, yeah, absolutely. So maybe relocation could be helping my career. Yeah, I take that, definitely. Well, I never believed I would be successful in Hungary. Anyway, that was one of the reasons I moved. Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm one of those who doesn't like its country. I know it sounds sad, but I think I was born at the wrong place. Tyra?
Oh. I was wondering, with those being houses that are cardinal, I know in some regard it could serve you in your career to have that cardinality, but could it create trouble because of maybe not getting too much started, or just too much activity could take away from the
So
career?
too much going on in my life. I'm doing too many things at the same time.
Yeah, too much going on. Even in, taking that habit into business, like just way too much going on, distractions.
And Mercury then in Capricorn doesn't plan things out.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take that. Maybe
Okay.
I need to think about it, because I think I'm a very good planner, even though I don't have any Earth, but I'm going to show you today why I've got actually plenty of Earth. I've got plenty of Virgo within me, just not visible. But I'm going to show you today why I've got plenty of Virgo, which balances out my Earth element significantly. But yeah, but that's a good idea. I take that. Okay. Susan, go ahead.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
With Mercury in Capricorn, what I thought was that that there may be an issue, which you've talked about speaking as an authority in your field to the people. It's stressed by Pluto, so that could be caused by shadow issues, but it's positively associated with Mars in the house of the ascendant, so you have the energy to overcome it.
Okay, yeah, there could be some speech problems. Absolutely. Thank you. Lefki, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Yes, I also thought about some communication barriers or fear of talking, for saying the wrong thing and being humiliated or something. And also maybe because it's the ruler of the fourth house, I see. Maybe you were raised in an environment where there was too much order, or it was important to be smart and to be learning, to study, or there was too much criticism, maybe in relationships as well, that kind of created this fear of being criticized of what you're
Interesting
saying
that
or
you
writing.
say that, because in my family there was no one with higher education, so everyone was just doing their becoming a carpenter and all those type of things. So I kind of broke, I think, a family karma with studying English and studying psychology, and then eventually, of course, astrology, which is not a higher education, but yeah. So, and then I kind of felt it as a burden, like, you know, I'm the only one, so it's kind of like a
Right.
responsibility. So
Yeah, but did the
I was
family
thinking
actually
about
wanted
that.
you? Did the family wanted you to break out of that pattern? Because yeah, with Mercury, I mean Gemini in the fourth, it's possible that everyone was doing skill, working with the hands or doing something more practical. But did they want you
My
to do
family
something
didn't want me
better?
to become an English teacher because they said
Mm.
there is no money in that. Become a chef, become this
Oh,
and that. So
okay.
it was constant arguments between us.
Okay.
I was like, no, I'm an intellectual person. So my son, thank God, kicked in and I said, I'm not going to become a carpenter. Can you? Jesus Christ. I was like, I'm not doing that. So yeah, I was very rebellious about it.
Okay. There was
And the
some
Mercury
friction though.
with a very rebellious energy to it. However, you know,
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like my grandma was right, because I actually love cooking and I love baking as well. So
Mhm.
I was debating between becoming a English teacher or becoming a pharmacist or becoming a psychologist, but I also wanted to be a baker. And I wanted to
You
make
can
cakes,
always
and I
do
was
that in
like,
the
which one
future.
shall I choose? And eventually how I did was I put my ideas in a hat and then I pulled one and the English teacher came out. I was like, okay, I become an English teacher. That's how I decided
Yeah.
at the age of 18 what I'm going to be doing, because I had no
Mm.
clue.
Mhm. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, who else? We've got Johnny. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I think with Mercury in the third decan, that is Virgo, you could have a propensity to be very critical with your thinking, and maybe even possibly like with suffering from overanalysis paralysis with topics of the fourth and seventh house.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I take that. Great, thank you. So, yeah, so you might want to be looking at, and you know, it might be important to also look at who is your most hated planet. Because even let's say, look at my Mercury, everyone hates my Mercury. Moon hates Mercury, Venus hates Mercury, Mars hates Mercury, Jupiter hates Mercury, everyone hates Mercury. So of course I can have issues with that hated Mercury in 7th house matters and 4th house matters as well. And of course I can have delays in 11th house ways as well, right? So yeah, so the most hated planet and the most liked planet, I think it's very important to look at. And my most liked planet is, of course, Jupiter. Okay, so I tend to be using this little trick to get a little bit more information about others. Okay, Monica, go ahead. You want to say something?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just writing some notes. Yeah, I was looking at the dispositor of that Mercury. So I'm looking at Saturn, and I was just looking at that. It's an applying aspect to Saturn, so a square. So I'm just thinking that
Between who?
the
Mercury and
Mercury and
no, there
Saturn.
is no aspect there.
All right,
My
sorry.
Mercury is pretty much on aspect, though it pulls
All right.
in Pluto, but that's no an aspect. That's too far.
All right, yeah, sorry. I'm
So my
looking
Mercury is unaspected, which we call as a feral planet in astrology. So unaspected planets are, you know, they are kind of like no one wants to talk to them, but you can see that everyone hates my Mercury. So Mercury is a little bit of a weaker planet in my chart, and I know that I don't know anyone who uses this technique, because whenever I had readings, they told me that, oh yeah, your Mercury is quite nice in your chart. It's quite strong. And that comes from the Dorotheus version, actually, because in Dorotheus, essentially Mercury has got some strength there. And the 11th house is the house of luck. So there could be an element of a luck assigned to that Mercury. But to be honest, I don't feel myself lucky at all, neither in 7th or 4th house matters. However, when it comes to the 11th house, I kind of feel lucky. I've got long-term friendships and stuff like that. So there is goodness to it, surely. But I know that my Mercury is challenged because everyone hates it. Great. So that's a little bit of an extra which we wanted to share there with the most hated planets. Susan, go ahead.
Yes, Victor, I just wanted to say, relative to what you said, with the stress with the stress that you're describing and the stress with Pluto that Mercury has, to me, that says to look at the shadow realms as to how to elevate that and assist your career, which would be the sun in conjunct with Juno, the matriarch, you know, the woman who's kind of the boss, and that's your secret power that helps you overcome that, the influence of the grandmother in the 12th house.
Yeah, I take that. For me, it's a little bit too wide, but you know, some people would look at it as a wide square. I just kind of tighten up the orbs a little bit sometimes, because if we work a little bit with tighter orbs, then you are more precise. Okay. So the wider an orb is, either you fear them or you don't fear them, kind of things, right? So yeah.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, left key last, and then we move on. Go ahead.
Yes, I also noticed that the moon is squaring, it's on the zenith, squaring the ascendant. So again, the moon can be the grandmother or the family playing a role, or some kind of blockage in career decisions.
Oh yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because actually I should have put down the zenith as well here. So we're gonna put that down as a step 7. Zenith. Oh, hold on. Zenith conjuncting any planet. Right, so we definitely need to look at that too. Brilliant. Okay, so these were the easiest part of things. So let's move on to our next topic, which we're going to be kind of look at. Okay, so we're going to come back to their charts. So I wanted to look at a little bit more the decans. Even though we learned about them and all of you are very comfortable with that, but we want to break that decan into even more down, because we are greedy. And we're going to spend at least a good half an hour on this one, just to make sure that everyone understands it. So firstly, what we're looking at, so we can see that let's start with for instance, the midheaven, right? So we know we can take a note here. Let me close these ones so I can actually, yeah, here you go. So we know that the MC is in Segi. So we know that the decan is going to be, because it's in the second decan, so that's going to be an Aries. So definitely the person needs to be embracing Sagittarius and Aries qualities if you want to be successful. So this is something which we already learned, and that should not be new. However, we can break down these even further. We can go down to the degree of what planet rules that degree, what the midheaven is on. However, I don't necessarily want to be talking about degree theories because I'm not using the degree theory what Nicola introduced. I use a degree theory which was introduced in the 16th century. So that was also introduced by Moran. And that's a little bit different. But I'm going to share with you if you want to. But don't compare it with Nicola's degree theory. I'm not saying that doesn't work, this works, whichever works for you. Everything works. It really depends on the person who uses that, right? So just as a disclaimer to put out there. However, that's a very Asian concept, which I would like to teach you, and that's called Dwad. Or some astrologers call it as Duad. Now, this is actually a Vedic astrology uses it quite a lot. In modern Western astrology, we kind of forgot about it. But as I said, it comes from the 15th, 16th century. So it's something which is not necessarily new. It has been around for a good 500 years already. So we identify the decan, and the decan is Aries, right? So a Dwad, imagine that you've got a pyramid. So the pyramid is going to be, the bottom of the pyramid is going to be the Sagittarius, which is basically the base of your personality. When we broke it down into decan, that gives us a little bit of extra flavor, but each decan can be broken into 4 little segments. And each segment is 2.5 degrees. So if I have got the decan starting on 10 degrees and it lasts till 1959, right? The first 2.5 degrees of that decan is the decan sign itself, which is very Aries-like, right? Because it's in the second decan. Then, so the Dwad is basically between 0 to 2.29 degrees. Because 2.5 degrees in astrology is 2.29, right? Because 1 degree is 60 minutes. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. So the first word of that decan is going to be Aries-like, because that's the purest form. And then after, it is always followed by the next sign. So if I'm going to go into that, 2.3 till 4.59 degree, 2.5 plus 2.5, that's 5, right? So the 5 degrees is actually 4.59. That's going to be a Taurus decan. Then I'm going to move forward, and then between 5 till, for simplicity, I'm going to write 7.5, but remember that's 7.3. That's going to be a Gemini decan. So not decan, sorry, Dwad, right? And then the last one is going to be a Cancer Dwad. So if I want to be looking at what does this person need to kind of embrace the most, we would say that the recipe here is Sagi plus Aries plus Gemini. And that would be what the person needs to learn. Now, remember how sensitive the midheaven is. So if the timing of birth is not accurate, the DWOD is not going to be accurate either. So this is something which is also extremely good for rectifying a chart. And we tend to be doing that, of course, with the midheaven and the rising sign itself. Okay, so does that make sense? With loads of Sagittarius and Pisces in your chart, the Virgo Mercury aspect of the chart can feel like a real drag. A relatively strong Mercury can still do some good, even if the other planets thinks it's totally boring. Yes, it could, but when a planet is hated by another, you know, it's a challenge. So from a traditional perspective, it's definitely a challenge. It can do well. Yeah, it can do well. Okay, so do we understand the DWODs? We're going to be doing examples. So, yeah, we're going to use examples. Okay, so let's start with some examples. Let me call up some names. Anna, unmute, please. Anna Isabel, unmute. No, Anna. She's shy. Julia, unmute, please.
Hello.
Okay, so I'd like you to look at my sun sign.
Okay, Sun in Aquarius, second decan. So decan is Gemini, and it's in 16 degrees. So from 10 till 12 and a half would be Aquarius. From 12 and a half.
No, it's not Aquarius. It's a Gemini decan, so it always starts with Gemini.
Oh, right, sorry. So from 10 till 12 and a half would be Gemini. From 12 and a half till 15 Cancer. And from, so it would be Leo.
Leo DWODs. Okay. So would it be typical for a sun in the 12th house to work in public?
No.
Does the Leo DWOD explains why I work with in public?
Yes, it does.
Right? And even the Gemini decan actually adds to that as well, because when I look at that Mercury, right? Mercury is in the 11th. Right? And the Leo DWOD adds some type of publicity to it, some type of shining. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So let's see another example. Okay, Mahara.
All right. Which planet?
Let's have a look at my Mars.
Okay, your Mars is in the first house, second decan of Pisces. So that puts us to Cancer.
Cancer decan, yeah.
Cancer decan. And at 15, I'm going to go 3 signs away from Cancer.
Yeah.
Leo, Virgo. So we got some Libra energy there.
Virgo.
Did I go too far? I went too far. Yes, Virgo. So
Cancer 1, Leo 2, Virgo 3.
So your
So
Mars,
can you see I've got one Virgo element here. So how, let's say if I say that, why do I get up every single morning? What would be the answer with Pisces, Cancer, and Virgo?
you want to be of service to someone. You want to help.
Yeah, you want to be helping someone. I want to be nurturing and I want to be helping someone. Right? For instance.
Nice. What a nice Mars.
Yeah, it's all right. Thank you. Let's see another planet. Cameron, unmute, please.
Hey.
Hey, so let's have a look at my Pluto.
Okay, Pluto is in Libra. It's in the 3rd decan. So we would have Gemini, And the
Okay, so Gemini decan, yeah.
do a little bit of math here. We would go from 20 to 22 and a half would be Libra. 25 would be Scorpio. 27 and a half would be.
Are you sure? No, 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 no. Start again.
Okay, so we'll go from, goes by 2.5. So we would say 20 to 2.5 would be Scorpio.
No.
We'll go by 4, wouldn't we?
No, not Scorpio. What's the decan?
Ah, right. We would start from the decan. Okay, so we would start from Gemini. So it would be Libra.
So Gemini, keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes. So then Libra, Dwad.
No, it can't be Libra.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Libra is the very
Virgo,
first
Dwad.
2.5 degree.
Right. Virgo, Dwad. Excuse me.
Yeah, so Gemini 1, Cancer 2, Leo 3, Virgo 4, because that's in the 4 dwads. So that's a Virgo dwad. Okay?
Excellent.
Great, thank you. Anna Marta.
Hi.
Hi, let's have a look at my Mercury then.
Oh, okay. Mercury is in Capricorn. It's in the Capricorn decan.
No, it's not. What decan is that Mercury in?
It's in the, oh, no, I'm sorry. It's in the 3rd decan. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Virgo, Taurus.
No. The Taurus is the 2nd decan because Taurus is the next after Capricorn.
Yeah, okay.
The first 10 degree is Capricorn, the next 10 degree is Taurus, the last 10 degree is
Virgo. Sorry.
Virgo. So we've got a Virgo decan. And what's going to be the dwad?
Virgo.
That's Virgo as well.
Mm-hmm.
So can you guys see how much Virgo I've got, which is not visible? I've got plenty.
Yep.
Okay. Brilliant. Last example. Sean, let's have a look at my Neptune.
Okay. Neptune is in Sagittarius.
Mm-hmm.
It is in the Leo decan.
Yep.
That would put it in the dwad of Scorpio.
Are you sure?
So from the Leo decan, I would count.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, you are right. Scorpio. Yes. So that's a Scorpio dwad. Okay. Great. Thank you. So I hope these examples helping to understand what dwad is. Why the Gemini? I'm not too sure, Merab, here what the question is for. So is the dwad similar to the Egyptian terms? How do we combine the two? I wouldn't necessarily combine Egyptian terms with dwads. I would call the dwad as a layer to your personality, an additional layer. Is the dwad similar to the Dedokate Morium in ancient astrology? Yes, it is a little bit similar. Brilliant. Okay, any other question on that? Do we get it? All good? No questions? Brilliant. Okay. Great. So if you are interested in the degree theory, what Moran kind of really came up with, I'm going to give you a very short introduction on that. Very easy, by the way, just it's a little bit sissy. I mean, it's a little bit, you know, technical, but not technical. It's just you've got plenty of work to do with that. So he says if the planet is in an air sign or fire sign, then you always going to start with an Aries degree. So the 0 degree is going to be Aries. And if it's a feminine sign, so if, I mean, water or earth sign, then you're always going to start with Libra. So, for instance, what does that mean? So let's suppose that the sun is on 16 on the 16 degree, right? So I'm gonna start with 0, which is, it's an air sign, so it's a Libra, air sign, so it's a masculine sign. So we're gonna start with Aries, and then we're gonna start calculating. So if 0 is Aries, then the 12 degree is going to be an Aries as well. And then 13 degree is gonna be Taurus, 14 degree is gonna be Gemini, 15 degree is going to be Cancer, and the 16th degree is going to be Leo. So that would be a Leo degree according to Moran. That was basically the degree theory from Moran. Okay, it's just an additional extra if you want to be looking at it. I don't think you need to go that far, but if you want, just look at it. Okay, so one more example. So remember that 0 degree becomes the Aries in masculine signs, and 0 degree becomes the Libra degree in feminine signs. So because Scorpio is a feminine sign, right? So 0 would be Libra, 1 is Scorpio, 2 is Sagittarius, 3 is Capricorn, 4 is Aquarius. So that would be an Aquarian degree. Okay, but that's the kind of the logic behind, basically. Great. So any questions on that? Do you guys want to look at a couple of other examples? Yeah, we're going to look at a couple of examples. So let's look at whose chart, hands up whose chart we didn't check so far yet. Whose chart was not a homework, for instance. Okay, so let's start with Sean. Okay, so Sean, can I get your date of birth, please?
January 21st, 1991.
1991, what time?
4:20 a.m.
4:20, where?
Manhattan, New York. New York, New York.
New York. Okay, great. So, Johnny, you put your hand up. So we want to be looking at, let's start the midheaven. Let's look at the, so with the midheaven, be always a little bit careful, because if it's not at the right timing of birth, we're going to go very wrong with it. Right? But that's sometimes good as well if we go wrong, because it means that we know that the chart is not accurate. Right? So sometimes it's worth having a look at the dwad of the ruling planet of the midheaven, because with that we can't really go wrong, right? But let's have a look at this midheaven complex a little bit more in depth. So Johnny, take it away.
All right, so it's in the first decan. So
Yeah.
it's Libra.
So Libra decan, yeah.
And also, would it be the Libra Dwad as well?
It can be. The first 2.5 degrees is Libra.
Oh, so then the next would be Scorpio.
Which is between 2.5 to 5.
Okay, then it's going to be Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Third dwad. So Libra and Segi mixture, what do I need to learn? What do I need to display if I want to be successful?
Okay. Relationships,
Yeah.
maybe law.
Yeah,
Teaching.
definitely. Libra, Segi together could really talk about law.
Yep. Teaching, foreign affairs, philosophy.
So I need to learn to be able to collaborate with others. That's a key for Libra, right? And in a Sagittarian way. So who should a Sagittarius collaborate with?
Who should Sagittarius collaborate with?
Yeah.
I would think maybe groups of people.
That's Aquarius. I mean, yeah, Segi has got group of people as well, but yeah, we've got better.
Well, with Libra, it would be one-on-one, right? In Sagittarius, could be more.
Libra is one-on-one, but it talks about collaboration with at least one person, right? Because that's a partnership sign.
Right.
And we can be sharing responsibilities with Libra. So I did a customer service, you did the financials, for instance, right? So what is the what does Sagittarius want in this lifetime?
To achieve higher learning.
To achieve a higher learning. So I collaborate to learn, or I collaborate to teach, right? That could be one of the ways how we can achieve that. Or I can collaborate with foreigners, right? I need to kind of learn that. Okay, so let's have a look at the ruler, which is Venus. So let's analyze that Venus a little bit more.
Okay. Venus is in Aquarius.
So Venus is in Aquarius in the 3rd house, right?
Yep.
So first we always look at the house position. So what's the 3rd house?
3rd house is education, communication, writing.
Yeah, communication, education, speaking, writing, and all those type of lovely things. Business transactions, right? Business transactions. Yeah, great. So, but let's dig that Venus deeper. So what decan is Venus on?
It's in the 3rd decan.
It's in the 3rd decan. So what sign is that?
That would be Libra.
It can be. Oh, sorry, I'm blind today. Sorry. Yeah, you are right. That's a Libra decan. So Libra decan, and what?
This is the one that I'm still trying to grasp.
So if it's in a Libra decan, the decan starts with Libra. So the first 2.5 degrees always Libra, followed by the next sign. So the next one is going to be Scorpio, then Sagi, then Capricorn.
Capricorn. So it's Capricorn.
Well, it's on 20 degree. Where does the Libra decan start?
Starts at 20, correct?
Yeah. So Venus is it in the first 2.5 degree?
Oh, okay. So Libra. All right. I think I'm getting it.
So again, we've got a Libra.
Yep.
So can you see how much Libra he's got? Libra midheaven, Libra decan for Venus, Libra dwad for Venus. Wow, we've got way too many Libra going on. Right? So, and he doesn't have much of a Libra. So maybe Libra jobs actually suit him very well. But he needs to do that in an Aquarian way and in a 3rd house way. So what type of jobs come to your mind?
Could be anything that works with nonprofit organizations, humanitarian technology, creativity.
Yeah. What else?
IT.
Yeah. And how does this all the Libra energy comes in then, if it's IT?
Libra energy with IT. That's a good question.
He's got at least 4 Libra invisible, so somehow Libra needs to play.
Could work for a law firm.
A law firm. Okay, I take that. And yeah, and how is the 3rd house gonna come into the picture? Okay, but anyway, we can take that. Other ideas. What else is Libra?
Partnership, contracts.
Yeah.
Beauty. Artistic beauty. Yep.
So how, for instance, the beauty could come into the picture of technology?
Could work with maybe a graphic company, maybe a company
graphic designer, an independent Aquarius graphic designer.
Yep, independent contractor.
Very Libra. Okay. So other ideas you guys are saying, we can do a love relationship application. I like that. We can do digital art. We can do graphic design. We can do freelancing. Yes, but freelancing, you know, computer graphics, web design, IT for online dating platform. Yeah, I'll take all of those. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. So, Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, people in the chat were generally correct. I've done pretty much a little bit of all of those things, but my main career has been in environmental health and safety, where I did a lot of traveling to different job sites. I do a lot of training. It was a corporate position. Sometimes I would evaluate equipment in different parts of the world, different companies that we were working with, in order to make that product. But my passion has always been creating music. I've always done that digitally with like synthesizers and computer-based programs. And I have a partnership with my mentor who does this. He's been placing music in TV and films for about 40 years. And we actually started a company together, and he does more of that teaching with the composers that come through. And I am the senior vice president, so I do a lot of the speaking and talking. So yeah.
Great,
accurate.
Brilliant. Yeah, I even see the music in there anyway, with the Libra, which is very creative anyway. So yeah, good. Let's have a look at another example. Who hasn't been? We're gonna look at one more example. Okay, Megan. So.
Hi.
Hi. Can I get your
March 25th, 1989.
vocation, because I've got so many Megans. Sorry, March
25th, 1989.
March 25th, 1989. Yeah, what time?
9:21 p.m.
9:21. Where?
Anniston, Alabama.
Oh, can you spell that, please?
ANNISTON.
ISTON. Oh, Anniston. Okay. Alabama?
Yes.
Great. So let's see who is going to be looking at this chart. Flavian, unmute, please. You are eager to speak.
Okay.
So let's have a look at that midheaven complex again.
Okay, so the midheaven is in Leo, 25 degrees.
Yeah.
In the 3rd decan.
Yeah.
Meaning it's an Aries decan.
Brilliant. So what do I need to learn with, oh, and the dwad?
And the dwad is, let's say, I would say Gemini.
That's impossible. Oh, sorry. No. I'm probably tired. Sorry about that, but you are right, Gemini. Yeah. So what do we need to learn with Leo, Aries, Gemini?
Well, to shine through communication.
Mm-hmm.
by shining by communicating.
And how is the Aries comes into the picture?
Directly.
Okay, I can communicate directly and then I'm shining through that. Yep, I take that. What other idea we've got? Give me another one at least.
Let's see. It comes to my mind like Leo, he's on the stage. I have Tony Robbins on my mind, so being a motivational speaker.
Okay, yeah, motivational speaker on a stage. I definitely take that. Right? I definitely take that. Okay, so let's have a look at the ruler.
So rule of Leo, the sun.
Yeah.
It's in the 6th house.
Yeah, 6th house. So what is 6th house?
Well, being of service.
Service to others. Very good.
At 5 degrees.
Yeah, so what decan is that?
So it's in the 1st decan.
Yeah, which is?
The first decan, which is Aries.
Yeah. Aries decan.
In the 3rd dwad.
Yeah.
Which is again Gemini.
Which is again Gemini. Wow. So we've got a repetition there, right? Because again, we've got Aries, Gemini, and Aries. Aries and Gemini. So double Aries and a little bit of a Gemini. So what type of jobs come to your mind now? Of course, including the 6th house, because somehow we need to be in service to others. So maybe the inspirational writer or the motivational speaker already falls out of our idea.
Okay, so I can see it in the work area, like motivating others, the other workers.
Okay, motivating other workers by talking to them, right? So what is that? How do we call that as a job? So I'm motivating the co-workers or the employees, 6th house, to do a better job by talking to them continuously. What type of job?
There are companies that do, before starting work, they do like a 10-15 minute session where they uplift, their.
Yeah, like a welcome meeting type of person. Okay, I take that. Why not? What else? 6th house is lifestyle. So how can the lifestyle come into the picture?
Very sports come to my mind.
Sports, yeah, why not? So a sport coach, right? And I'm going to take my students to competition. Yeah, I'll take that. And I'm going to be motivating them. If it's a health related 6th house, what comes to your mind?
Well, like a nutritionist.
Maybe a nutritionist who's going to be helping us to shine, right? And then lose weight.
Yeah.
Right? That's also working.
There's also Venus there, so the image, the self-worth.
Yeah, if we want to take more, I'm going to be looking at where Mars is, where Mercury is, because that might be giving us even a little bit additional type of element. And Mercury is in Pisces in the 5th, 8th house Mars. So that could give us a little bit additional information of what job she could be doing. So if you take into account the 5th and the 8th house, what comes to your mind?
Investments.
Okay, some type of investment into medical field,
Yeah.
for instance, right? Yeah, or maybe sports goods or sex.
Yeah.
Right? So I can be a sex therapist, a sex type of like advisor, or I can show people how to change the sanitary pads or whatever it is, right? That's
Yeah.
also working. And so forth. Great, thank you. So just we collected some ideas. So Megan. Share something with us, please.
So I've pretty much worked in the fitness industry my entire adult life. A lot of it was in sales. So I worked for supplement companies where I would go and do like sales training to like area GNC stores and other like vitamin shops and things like that. And I would do sales training with their employees and promote the brand's products and things like that. I've done personal training, which I found that I'm really good at motivating people. Everyone knows if you need a fire lit under your ass, I'm the person to go to. But it wasn't competitive enough for me. I got bored. And I also got very frustrated with people's excuses. So I felt like I didn't really have the patience for it. I don't know. But yeah, fitness has always been my thing.
Brilliant. So we see that the sales as well with that Gemini, of course.
Yes.
Right. So if you really put together the keywords, what I usually do when I do vocational like coaching or something like that, that's exactly what I do, what you see here, what I'm writing on the notes. And then I put down, okay, so I put down keywords like sport because of Aries, sales because of Gemini, because of Leo, stage. So, and then I'm thinking, what type of job comes to my mind? Right? Or I put down sex plus health plus whatever it is, sales, so I can work in a toy shop, right? And I can educate people about how to use a condom or whatever it is. I'm going to start thinking about, you know, all these type of things. And then after I go back and then I check on the chart, okay, does that align with the sun? Does that align with the moon? Because let's say, and does that align with the rising sign? Because, you know, would the Scorpio rising do anything sexy? Of course it would. Of course. It has no issue with it. So would the moon do something like that? Well, that moon is a little bit private, so maybe I'm not going to tell the client to do sex business. But at the end of the day, moon in Scorpio could be, again, bringing in some of the elements of like tantra and all those type of things, working with women and getting to know their orgasm and so forth. So yeah, we definitely can take into account and so forth. So
right. And one of the, I'm sorry, go ahead. One of the things that I always tried with my clients was to kind of get to the root and help them to understand like why they've gotten to the place where they're at, you know, with their body. Like if they're, you know, super overweight and really unhealthy, like I wanted them to focus on their emotional and just their emotional well-being and focusing on being comfortable with themselves first to so that way their results were long lasting. It wasn't just that I need to lose weight, but no, like you need to change your whole life. So I think that's maybe where the moon comes into.
Yeah. So of course the whole chart needs to be looked at, and you know, eventually maybe you write down 20 idea, and then at the end of the day, you know, with the rest of the elements what we learned already, we're gonna be able to narrow it down to 3-4 options, and then we just tell the client this is what I kind of feel you should be doing. Great, thank you. So I hope that makes sense. Lefki, can you just change the all panelists and attendees? No one can see your comments, and I'm sure they want to see your contribution. Great. So mine hasn't. Yeah, great. Would you recommend chart rectification for a client? Yeah, I would always do. To be frank, I would always do chart rectification no matter what. I hate doing chart rectification, to be frank. It's too Virgo-like. Firstly. Secondly, to be frank, a good astrologer, I think, would want to do chart rectifications. But one of the reasons why I'm reluctant to tell clients that I don't do readings without chart rectification, because it might come across as I want to get more money out of them. And that's not the case. But of course, if it's not an accurate timing of birth, then, you know. So when there is a 29-degree and 0-degree rising sign and all those lovely things, I tell them, go and rectify your charts. But I usually don't take on rectification because, yeah, maybe that Virgo, I would be just counting all over the place. And secondly, to be frank, I don't believe in rectifications either. And I might be talking against some of my colleagues who do plenty of rectifications, but I don't necessarily believe in rectification. Especially, I don't believe in rectification when the astrologer doesn't ask pictures from you. So if I did a rectification, I would ask you, can you send me at least 10 pictures of you in each decade? Not just dates, not just dates. The date is not enough. I would want to see your appearance. I would want to see how big your bum is. I would want to see how big your eyes. I would want to see those things. This is how William Lilly, for instance, decided whether he's going to be reading a chart or not of the person, because if the rising sign didn't fit the picture of the person, then he refused to do the reading because that's not an accurate chart. So somehow your look needs to be coming through the rising sign, the sun and the moon sign, no matter what. Okay, I made a very intense webinar about the physical looks and how to define the look of a person. So if you want, check that out. But it's definitely something which is, you know, not easy job. So that's why I want to see when you were a baby. I want to see when you were 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, and I want to see at least 7, 8 pictures of you. And I want to see whole body pictures because I want to see how your body is changing as well. Okay, that's how I would do rectification, but I don't necessarily do rectifications. Yeah, I just don't like doing it. Yeah, but I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that someone else is not good at rectification who is not asking pictures, but I would definitely do that this way. Okay, because you can tell me that, I don't know, for instance, you got married on 25th of January 2002. That's nice, right? But that love story started somewhere. It was a first date. It was, so that's a process. Or you can tell me that I got divorced in 2010, February 29th, right? That's lovely, but that divorce was a process as well. So that's why I don't trust these dates. You can tell me that I don't know, you had a accident. Well, I can work with that because the accident happened something suddenly. It's not a process. You can tell me that you gave birth to a baby. That's a process as well. You can tell me that your dad died, but that's a process also. So that's why I've got issues with these dates. Okay, but that's my opinion on rectification. Brilliant. Okay, so we're moving on. I hate doing rectification is just an example of hating Mercury to Virgo like. Yeah, absolutely. If not needed to have a difficult job, then I don't like the Virgo qualities. Okay, moving on. So we covered the decans, we covered the dwards, so I hope that makes sense. So I brought here, for instance, and if you want, look at the degrees as well. So Ronald Reagan, he actually was born on 6th of February, just like myself. So he's got sun also on 16 degree, which means that he's got a Leo dwad, he's got a Gemini decan, and he's got a Leo dwad. Yeah, I said that already. And also he's got a Leo degree sun. So that's, we might be able to see some of his very strong leadership qualities, right? Because the dwad is on Leo and even the degree is on Leo as well, if you want to be kind of breaking that down even further. So of course I would start putting together what is this person's life mission. So the life mission is with Aquarius, some type of humanitarian cause. I do that through speaking because it's in the 3rd house. But Leo wants to be visible in the world. It wants to gain leadership. So it's all about leading the world, basically, if I really put that together, right? Maybe we would not necessarily see that from somewhere else. Because when you start looking at, okay, so the midheaven is on Libra. Okay, we know that we need to compare that with the sun. So now we've got a sun information, right? We know that leading a group of people, maybe to victory, right? We can kind of say that with that Leo type of energy. So I need to do that by collaborating with others. And then I'm looking at where Venus is. Venus is in the 4th house, which is the home country. But with Pisces, you know, okay, it's a noble cause, but you might say that, oh, Ronald Reagan needs to be working in farming, or, you know, he has to have a fish pond, or, you know, or agriculture, or all those type of things. So if we don't look at the sun as in karmic motivation, what we signed up to do in this incarnation, you can go really wrong. Okay, so that's important. And I also brought you another example here, which is Gordon Ramsay. I'm sure everyone is kind of, we hate him or we love him. Now, when I look at just his sun sign, which is on 15 degree of Scorpio, right, which is in a Pisces decan. Interestingly enough, he's got Saturn in the sign of Pisces. So when I look at the decan, straight away go on the sign as well. Do we have any planets there? Because that is going to be influencing our sun, right? So there is definitely Saturn there with a Chiron conjunction. Ooh, okay. So what is happening here? So I've got Pisces decan, which says, I mean, I've got Scorpio sign. So I'm very committed to something, right? That's Scorpio. With a Pisces, I have to surrender. I need to give up on something, and maybe I need to be on television. And then I look at that Saturn Chiron, oh, sugar, there is something wrong going on there, surely. So we need to overcome some of our pains and blockages. We learned about what Saturn and Chiron talks about, so I'm not going to go into that that much. And then I look at that that Scorpio sun is in a Taurus dwad. Aha, that's where the cooking comes in, right? And when I look at his Taurus, oh, he's got North Node there. So he's got like a compulsory literature to read about something to do with nature, something to do with creativity. But in order for him to do that, he needs to give up on certain things, right? So if we didn't look at that, maybe we wouldn't necessarily see the cooking element. The story behind Gordon Ramsay, that he was ready to become a professional football player. But in one of the games, he actually broke his knee. So he was told that he could never play again. And all of a sudden he had to kind of figure out what the heck am I gonna do? And that's how the cooking came into the picture. Otherwise, he would be a professional football player, nothing to do with cooking. And now we can see maybe how the Saturn and the Chiron plays, because I need to surrender my professional dream, right? 10th house and Pisces. Okay, great. So we moving on. So heliocentric planetary nodes. And in the rest of the class, we're going to be speaking about planetary nodes, actually. And we're going to speak about 2 types of planetary nodes, which I kind of find prominent. These are, okay, so firstly, why I think heliocentric planetary nodes are important. What is helio means sun. So it's like the sun's planetary nodes. I'm sure you heard about lunar nodes. Don't mix them up, because the lunar nodes are the moon's intersections. And it's nothing to do with the sun. So the heliocentric planetary nodes are kind of like the sun's planetary nodes. So there are 2 types of planetary nodes. Actually, we've got the heliocentric and we've got the geocentric planetary nodes. So the geocentric planetary nodes are points where a planet's orbit intersects the ecliptic as viewed from the Earth. The heliocentric is looking at it from the sun's perspective. That's all I want you to remember. We don't need to take it too far. What I'd like you to kind of learn, or you don't need to learn, but you can print this slide off and then stick it on your wall, because the nodes of Pluto is on 20 degree of Cancer and 20 degree of Capricorn. So the 20 degree is something to do with the North Node, and the 20 degree Capricorn is the South Node. Now, the good thing is that these degrees are moving approximately 1 degree every 72 years, just like the fixed stars. So therefore, you just need to print this slide and remember those degrees. Now, remember that the sun is your life mission. So if there is any planet, let's say in your chart, on 20 degree of Cancer or 20 degree of Capricorn, that is going to add additional features to your personality. Okay, so for instance, let's bring up my chart. So 20 degree Cancer, 20 degree Capricorn. Okay, 20 degree Capricorn. Here, I kind of recommend using maximum a 3 degree orb. Very maximum. Tight it up. I kind of like the 2 degree more. So tight it up. Don't go for 8, 9 degrees. Go with very tight conjunctions only. Conjunctions only. So 2 to 3 degree maximum. So can you see that Pluto's planetary node is right on my Mercury? Now, I think Susan was talking about this. Was it Susan? I think it was Susan. Susan was talking about this Pluto type of energy, right? So now, in my opinion, there is no Pluto-Mercury square there, or definitely there is the Pluto's nodal point there. So now, all of a sudden, yes, we do have got that type of energy. Okay. Next one, the node of the Neptune is 12 degree Leo, 12 degree Aquarius. Do we have any planet there? 12 degree Aquarius? No, sun is too far. 12 degree Leo? No, nothing there. Okay, so I'm moving on. Nodes of Uranus is 14 degree Gemini, 14 degree Sagittarius. Okay, 14 degree Sagittarius, what was that? Uranus. So my Uranus nodal point, even though it's quite far from the midheaven, but it's right on my midheaven. So there is a very strong Uranian influence to my midheaven, right? There is nothing on. And of course, I've got Uranus. South node on there, and north node is on Gemini, right? So it's very close to my IC. Now, maybe from my IC, you wouldn't say that I got abandoned by my parents, right? Because if you look at Mercury is in Capricorn, that might show a responsible parent. But the Uranus is kind of making sense now, right? I got abandoned by my parents when I was 3 months old, and therefore my grandma raised me. That Uranus kind of talks about that. And therefore, the rejection part, because it's on the IC, gonna talk about additional blockages for the person. The nodes of Saturn is 24 Cancer, 24 Capricorn, right? So I've got, again, Saturn, it's like conjuncting my Uranus there. Mercury there. So definitely I'm a late bloomer. Now, even that gives more to the relationship department, right? And that is definitely important because Saturn is the ruler of my Mercury as well. Okay? When I look at Jupiter, which is 10 Cancer, 10 Capricorn, I don't have anything there. Nodal Mars is 19 Taurus, 19 Scorpio. I've got Chiron there. So it's like Mars is conjuncting my Chiron, right? So that's definitely gonna be somehow something we need to be talking about to the client. Nodes of Mercury, 20 Taurus. So you can see that the Mercury and Mars are pretty close to each other, actually. So there is Mercury on my Chiron. Now it even makes more sense about communicational blockages, what we spoke about last week when it comes to Chiron, right? And Mercury rules the 7th, so Mercury is the 4th, or maybe I've got hardship to talk about my relationship department or family department. And then the nodes of Venus is on 16 degree Gemini, 16 degree Sagittarius. So I've got Venusian characteristics to my midheaven as well. So these are just degrees which you might want to be learning. And as I said, the name suggests heliocentric, so it's sun related. If you find any that somehow ties up to your karmic mission, if that makes sense. Okay, does that make sense? Does it make a difference if the north node or the south node? Same idea, gifts versus blocks, Jupiter node conjunct Jupiter. I wouldn't necessarily look at these as blocks and gifts. I would be looking at it as an additional character to your personality. And it might be giving you an additional type of kind of characteristics about you. So it might be giving you like kind of additional features, additional like notes about, you know, your journey in this incarnation. Great. So let's have a look at some examples. So Tyra says, I finally get why I'm great at mercurial things, given my Mercury is in Pisces. My ascendant is conjunct Mercury's nodes. Here you go. The professional software wouldn't display these points. It does display it somewhere, but I don't put them on the program because I remember these degrees. I don't know how to put them on, but if you have got Sirius, I think you've got Sirius. If you just go onto this help button and then you type in heliocentric, here you go, planets, then probably you're gonna get information about how to do that. Okay, so right there. Brilliant. One more time, we only look at conjunctions here. That's what we are interested in, nothing else. So the reason why it's important, because we are so fussed about using the lunar nodes. Each of the planets have got their nodes. Why are we not looking at them? Right? And that was the heliocentric one. I'm gonna speak about another one, just we're gonna be looking at some charts. So let's have a look at some hands up, whose chart hasn't been looked at yet. Okay, so Otmar. So Otmar.
Yes, September 12th, 1973. 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
73, sorry.
Oh, 73, sorry.
10:25 a.m.
10:25 a.m. Where?
Managua, M-A-N-A, Managua, Nicaragua.
M-A-N-A?
G-U, now G-U. Managua, Nicaragua, yeah.
Here you go. Brilliant. So let's see. That's lovely that people are holding their hands up. So, okay, Susan, go ahead. And does he have any special points at all? So let me try to put it there for you, so at least you can see these degrees. Here you go.
Okay. Okay, great. And I was actually putting my hand up because I haven't had my chart done, but I will do it. Just give me a second because I'm making the chart bigger so I can see the information. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'll look at this. Okay. Hold on 1 second.
So let's start with the nodes of Pluto. Do we have anything on 20° Cancer, 20° Capricorn?
No, nothing nodes of Pluto.
Nothing. Let's move on to Neptune. 12 Leo, 12 Aquarius.
No, 19
I mean 12 Leo, yeah, 12 Leo, 12 Aquarius, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Leo, okay. Dun, dun. 12. Is that the midheaven there?
Oh, so we've got Neptune kind of like on the midheaven, invisible
Yeah.
Neptune on the midheaven. So what type of job does that give us straight away?
Well, something spiritually oriented.
Yeah, and then let's talk about that midheaven a little bit. So let's imagine that Neptune is there too. So we definitely need to be taking that into account. What type of decan is that? What dwards and how Neptune can play in there, and where is the sun?
Okay, it's the second decan, which is, I think it's Sagittarius. And then it's okay, so 2.5. Okay, I think it's the second dwad. So Sagittarius, it would be Capricorn. Is it
so we've got Leo plus Saggy plus Capricorn. We kind of need to put together Capricorn, right? And that's the midheaven. So that's what we need to learn. So what does he need to learn? Give me a couple of examples with Leo, Saggy, Capricorn.
Well, what he needs to learn, I was just thinking he could be like a preacher that travels around the world holding tent revivals.
But remember, these are the traits we need to embrace. It's not about job.
Okay, the traits.
So
Leo,
what trait does he need to embrace to be successful? These are not job related stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay, Leo, being comfortable being in public. Sagittarius, trusting one's vision. Capricorn, creating structure around what they're doing in their life.
And we've got a little bit of a Neptune influence there too. So how does that come together? Like, well, as you said, trusting our vision, being in the public arena, creating structure with Neptunian things. So maybe dancing, maybe spirituality, maybe healing, maybe, and so forth.
Yes.
So let's have a look at the sun. Where is the sun?
The sun is in the 11th house at, is it Virgo? Yep, Virgo, which, okay, and it's in the 2nd decan. So that would be,
yeah,
Virgo, that would be, hold on one sec here. 1, 2, 3, is that Capricorn?
Yeah, Cap decan.
Okay, and then
what?
It's in the last Dwad. So
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. So is that Aries?
Yeah, Aries. Dwads.
Wow.
So how does that add to our profile? So sun in Virgo, what's the mission of Virgo?
Well, analytical, critical. Is it taking care of the home to some extent?
But these are fields already. So these are not characteristics, it's more fields.
This would be very analytically oriented, just for the Virgo part.
So kind of like an analytical job. Yeah, I get that. And the 11th house, what can I analyze?
You could analyze social trends.
Social trends. But there is a little bit of a Capricorn involved there with Aries.
Where you could analyze the like government structures that serve the public, like analyze agencies or analyze from a, I'm using a high view, I guess, because of Sagittarius.
Yeah. Okay. So for instance, we can definitely do that. Thank you. So this is how we're going to be working with that little Neptune. Otherwise, we would not have looked at Neptune and we would not get in any information. I can look at where Neptune is actually. It's in the 2nd house. So financial trends might be actually very good for Otmar. Right? And maybe we can invest as well with that Neptune. I can invest into medical stuff, for instance. Great. Thank you. So Otmar, what do you do? Share with us, please.
So I'm just a question. I'm surprised the Neptune did not come in terms of technology related.
Neptune
No, it says Uranus, right? It's Uranus. Okay, so yeah, I work with the United Nations. That's the part of 11th house because I work with the migrant populations, our agency, and I am also I work data analytics and business intelligence is my unit, the work I do. And
business intelligence,
yeah, data analytics and business intelligence. And then, but I also have clinical psychology studies on the side. That was interesting.
Oh, here you go. So that's where Neptune comes into the picture. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much an IT job, basically. So, but yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Does that make sense? There is no Capricorn decan here, right? I'm not too sure what does that mean. A Capricorn decan. We've got the sun in Capricorn decan. Brilliant. Okay. Let's see. Anyone else who hasn't been looked at? We're going to be looking at one more example. Okay. Julie, let's take it away. I think I've got your chart.
The 6th of March, 1974.
I've got your chart.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So let's see who can analyze this. Geraldine, please unmute.
She is in Libra. It's the 2nd decan, which is Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dwad, it's I forget how we do this.
So
It's a
Libra
masculine
is the first
sign.
2.5 degree, and then the next sign is the next one.
Oh, right. So we're on the 5th.
No, the Libra starts on 10 degree. So the
Oh,
Libra
okay.
is the first.
So it's on the 2nd.
Yeah, so what's the
So
second sign from
Libra
Libra?
to Scorpio.
So Scorpio.
So we've got
Scorpio.
Libra and Scorpio
And
and Aquarius.
Okay, so what could that bring in?
We work in partnership with others for a humanitarian concern, and it's something we at some kind of something we analyze at a deep level or investigate.
Okay, yeah, so
at a
these
deep
are the
level.
traits I need to learn. Okay, great. Let's have a look at the ruler, Venus.
Venus is also in Aquarius in the 3rd, first decan.
So Aquarius plus Aquarius, and what Dwad.
And the Dwad is the second. So it's what has happened to my brain today? It's
Mercury, Neptune
it's
square.
Pisces.
Pisces. Great. And of course, let's not forget that she's got a Pisces sun as well. So let's have a look at that Pisces sun too. So Pisces plus what decan?
Pisces, 2nd decan, which takes us to Cancer.
Cancer, yeah. And what Dwad?
And the Dwad starts on 10. We're on the 3rd, so it's Pisces, Aries, Taurus.
Okay, so we've got the career profile pretty much. So let's have a look at if you've got any shadow point going on. So anything on 20 degree Cancer or Capricorn?
Fortune.
Okay. Okay, we can definitely take a note of that. So we have got some Pluto into this situation, surely. Pluto nodes plus part of fortune conjunction. Okay,
That's
anything
echoing
else?
the Scorpio influence. In your
Yeah, so
basic
we see plenty
profile.
of Scorpio in type of things, plenty of Scorpio Aquarius so far. Okay, anything on 12 Leo Aquarius?
Nope.
Nope. 14 Gemini, 14 Sagi.
Nope.
Nope. 24 Cancer, 24 Capricorn.
Nope.
Yeah, Jupiter and part of fortune.
Oh, okay.
So 3 degree, right? So Jupiter plus part of fortune. Ooh, okay. We're gonna see which one is stronger actually. Then 19 Taurus or 20 Taurus or Scorpio.
Nothing, no.
Okay, 16 Gemini, 16 Sagi.
No.
No. So we've got a career profile for Julie. So what comes up with Libra, Aquarius, Scorpio, Aquarius, Aquarius, Pisces, Pisces, Cancer, Taurus, Pluto, Jupiter. Let's read it together.
Okay.
Of course, you want to see repetitions here. So I only see one Taurus. Am I going to tell her that she needs to do so much Taurus? Not really. But what I see is that we've got plenty of Aquarius and plenty of Aquarius. 1 Aquarius, 3 Aquarius, right? Then I've got 2 Pisces. So maybe Pisces is pretty dominant here too. So I'm going to take a note of that. But then I've got Scorpionic flavor as well. So 1 Scorpio here, 1 with the Pluto, plus the Pluto is in the 8th house as well, right? So you might want to be just focusing on, what is repeating continuously. Basically, we're looking for signatures. So what type of jobs do you come to your mind? And of course, don't forget it's 4th house, 3rd house as well, because Venus is in the 3rd house and the Sun is in the 4th.
I wonder, because of all the Aquarius and a humanitarian aspect, because of the Pisces and the Sun being in the 4th, that it's something to do with housing, homelessness, refugees.
Yeah, I'll take that as a suggestion. What else? Guys, there is Jupiter, because Jupiter is on that's 10-degree Cancer.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's why I was confused.
Sorry. We scraped that out. No Jupiter. What else?
But with the 3rd house, or the 3rd house Aquarius, they're a spokesperson in their work.
Okay, yeah, some type of spokesperson. I'll take that. Great. What else?
In fact, with the moon in Leo, I like the spokesperson, or the person who stands for the cause, gets on his.
So with Aquarius, we do plenty of humanitarian stuff. The next 2 signs which are really coming in, the Scorpio and the Pisces, right? So 4th house, 3rd house, definitely some type of communication to a large group, Aquarius, about maybe psychological matters, Scorpio, right? With Pisces, do we have anything in Pisces? The Sun. So with Pisces, we could be something like a family constellation therapist, where I'm going to be talking about your issues.
Or healing trauma.
Healing trauma. Absolutely. I take that. Surely, by consulting with these people and maybe showing some practical ways as well with their 3rd house. Okay. Yeah, we can work with addictive people, right? That could work as well.
The Pluto on the Pluto nodes on the part of fortune in Cancer, going back to family issues. Like you said, the family constellations, but any kind of family investigation or therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great. No, the moon is not conjunct in the node because that's 4 degrees apart. That's a little bit too far. Great. Okay, thank you. So it might be a little bit too, too complicated, but once you get used to it, you're gonna kind of see them easier. Mahera, go ahead.
Sure. Where are we now?
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something.
I was just, I think I just left my hand up for the beginning of the thing. I don't have anything to add.
Oh, okay, no worries. So Julie, share something with the others.
Okay, so I teach yoga and meditation and I practice astrology. Basically, I started yoga teacher training school, gosh, about like 16 or 17 years ago, certifying other people to be yoga teachers. But I kind of specialize in meditation, and a lot of my private clients, I create specialized meditations for them to help them overcome whatever they're dealing with. So yes, I do have a lot of people that have had trauma or things like that. And I'm very interested in family constellations, but I'm not practicing that, and I haven't studied that at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So do we have any questions about that? My 11th house Sagittarius Sun, Aries decan, Pisces Dwad is ruled by Jupiter in Capricorn, second decan, Taurus Dwad, deposited by Saturn in Gemini, Libra decan, Scorpio Dwad. Who? MC Sagittarian decan, Cap Dwad. I have a Scorpio stellium 10th house. Does this soften my Sun Saturn opposition? Or does it tell me how to function with it? Uranus nodes on my Sun, and I have an Aquarius rising. I'm not really good at reading charts, so we would need to see the chart. I mean, I'm not really good at like imagining the planets. I'm visual, so I need to see the chart right in front of me. So, but does it soften my Sun Saturn opposition? Ruled by Jupiter, deposited by Saturn. Okay, I have Scorpio 7 and 10, but does it? I don't think it softens yours. Victor, calculating that what? We start from the decan sign or the sign where the planet is, just confirming. We start with the decan sign. Okay, and we've got Sin wants to, oh, you wanted to ask something? Sin, yeah, here you go. Go ahead.
I'm just confused with the MC Dwad. Because MC is in Libra, in the second decan, which is Aquarius. And then, then should be Pisces, and then should be Aries, right? Not Scorpio.
Yeah, absolutely, you are right. Yeah, we made a mistake there.
That's what I was really confused there. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I think I'm really tired today. So Aries there.
Okay.
So it kind of minimizes it now to Aquarius and Pisces energies, really, what we should be focusing on for Julie the most. Great. And last topic for today, because I feel like you guys have got plenty to do. So that was from a heliocentric planetary node point of view, which is fixed. Now, when we look at the geocentric planetary nodes, where the geocentric planetary nodes are the points where a planet's orbit intersects the ecliptic as viewed from the Earth. Now, the degrees are not necessarily that easy there. So firstly, those are not the same as the lunar nodes, which is the moon nodes. Not the same as the heliocentric nodes, because there's the sun perspective. Okay, so that's one key factor to consider. These degrees move approximately 1 degree every 72 years as well. So these are not always opposites, just like we saw that with the lunar nodes. The planetary nodal point becomes the planetary energy. For example, having Neptune's nodal point on 12 degree of Leo, that degree becomes very Neptunian. So meaning that any planet being on those degrees are very important. The Mercury and the Venus planetary nodes differs, and the Mars North node or South node is somewhere between 6 Aries to 3 degree Cancer. So the South node is always between 7 degree of Libra and 29 degree of Sagittarius. Now, it's only a little bit difficult with the Mercury, Venus, and Mars, which are actually shifting. The rest of them are kind of within a range. Now, in order for you to work with planetary nodes, you will see the ranges here. You need, unfortunately, a program. So if you have got Sirius, I can show you how to do that. you click on the side, I mean, right click, then you go on customize, and then you go on asteroid lots and nodes, click on that. And then you can click on planet nodes. And then you get this fantastic chart. Now, if you want to this, email me and then I'll send your chart to you. Now it looks very complicated, and to be frank, it is a little bit complicated. But unfortunately, because this is very much about worldly events, when we start looking at financial trends, we need these planetary nodes. So we're not going to be escaping from them. No way. Here, you're focusing on, just like the nodes of the moon, exactly the same. We've got some planetary nodes, and they are especially important when there is a planet conjuncting, I would say again, within about 3-degree orb maximum. So it might be a little bit harder to see, but let's have a look at if we've got anything significant. So Venus is on Venus south node. That's too far, 6-degree. Now Mars south node is on the north node. Maybe that's kind of important. And I'm looking at others here. Well, Pluto's north node is actually around the path of fortune in the 8th house within 3 degrees. So that could be important for us. Yeah. So how am I going to interpret these? I'm going to be interpreting them as in kind of like a shadow side of the planet. So you're going to be looking at them as conjunctions, of course. So Julie doesn't really have anything there. So let's bring up my chart. I've got some bits and bobs going on there. So customize, asteroid lots. Where are we again? Planetary nodes right there. Here you go. So I'm looking at, let's say, well, we've got Mercury, but that's a little bit too far. The sun is a little bit too far. So maximum of 3-degree orb. Aha. So we've got Pluto's planetary node right on my Mercury. Or I've got Venus planetary node on my Mercury. So you're going to start reading that as a Mercury conjunction to Venus from a karmic perspective. But this is something which is very powerful when it comes to timing technique as well. So let's suppose that Venus gets activated here by a transit. That kind of activates Mercury as well because the Venus planetary node is there too. So if it's complicated for you, don't use it at the moment. We're going to go through this again when we look at some financials. But so what you want to be remembering, for instance, and I'll give you an example here. So Pluto's south node is on 17 to 21 Capricorn. Remember that when we had COVID situation, we had a Saturn-Pluto conjunction happening on 21 degree, which also brings in the Plutonian south node as well. And when I look at the Saturnian node, which is between 17 to 28 Capricorn, currently Saturn is sitting on 25 degree. Think about what is going on when, for instance, now Pluto is transiting Saturn's planetary nodes, right? And it's going to be happening. It happened recently. around today, and it's going to be happening again sometimes in September. You can imagine that Pluto is going to be reactivating all the 2020 events, which was going on between January and March. So, yeah, okay. As I said, if it's don't use it at the moment, but try to familiarize yourself with it. I know it's a little bit difficult. Okay, so, but how would you interpret, let's say, Venus South Node conjuncting Mercury? So hands up, and how would you interpret that? So let me call up someone. Christina, unmute, please.
Hi. Yes, so let's see, Mercury is in 21 degrees Capricorn, and Venus also, the planetary node of Venus is also 21 degree Capricorn conjunct with Mercury. So at this moment, we're going to check Saturn.
We don't check Saturn. What does it mean that the planetary south node of Venus is conjuncting Mercury?
Well, in 11th house, you know, like some kind of humanitarian speaking up, she needs to do something like, or she could do something like have a non-profit organization and some kind of leadership in that non-profit organization, but Venusian energy.
I would be looking at where Venus comes from.
Okay, let's see where Venus coming from. Venus coming from Pisces. And
yeah, from the first house.
From the first house, yes. So that she definitely has a very mystical look, I believe so. And also
This
Venus
is my
in
chart.
oh, okay. Yeah, you start. Okay, so Venus in first house in Pisces, definitely some spiritual, you know, spiritual mission in her life, but some Venusian energy, it has to involve some kind of art, like for example, and first house, because it's ruled by usually Aries, right, and Mars is over there as well. Yoga is a spiritual kind of art. Like,
okay, yeah.
So I would say that, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Of course, remember it's a karmic experience as well at the same time, because it's kind of like a south node, right? So let's see, Myra, go ahead.
Okay, so I was thinking that Venus has to do with the self-worth and Mercury is communication. So maybe there's some work to do there regarding the...
Yeah, and don't forget to look at what Mercury rules. So again, it rules the 7th house and rules the 4th house, right? So how does that connect with the Venusian energy?
Okay.
With the south node of Venus energy.
With the south node energy.
So think about what Venus rules. So you can bring the 8th house into the picture or the 3rd house into the picture.
Aha, okay, so 8th house is secrets or something to do with what would 8th house be in this regard? Fears or something like that. And the 3rd house has, and the 3rd
so very
house,
good. Fear around relationship, fear around family matters, right? Or settling down. So we definitely can say that. Right, because these are acting like a little bit of a shadow point. Remember that these are, and somehow the body image comes into the picture as well, because it's a first house energy. Right, so yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Perfect.
Monica, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the same. First house Venus is very conscious of looking good. So I'm just thinking maybe the shadow point or maybe a little bit of a blockage, thinking that only I can go out there to communicate to my audience or teach my audience, especially on like YouTube or stuff like that. If I looked good and if I am perfect, then I can only face my audience, because they wouldn't think myself, I wouldn't think that I'm worthy of teaching people if I'm not good looking or not perfect, Venus in the chart. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take that, surely. Julie, go ahead.
Oh, we weren't really, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just something interesting. I just kind of looked down quickly at the Anticia, that the Venus Anticia in Libra. Oh gosh, sorry. I was reading this wrong. I'm sorry. I was thinking that the part of fortune, but that's in Scorpio. I was
No worries.
sorry. I'm a little off today.
Yeah. Okay. Any other ideas, anyone? Hands up. No more ideas? Great. So we've got one more. Merope, go ahead.
Yes. So could it be that the 4th and 7th house, okay, so the emotion, the partnership, you feel that being maybe going too much into emotion would be limiting you, or you're trying not to go too much in this area for some reason?
Yeah, I can take that. It could mean something like that, surely.
Okay.
Great. Monica, go ahead.
Yes, I'm thinking that since Venus rules the 8th and the 3rd house, it could also be some feeling of lack of support, or being told in school that you're stupid or something. So it could be a confidence issue relating to communication.
Yeah, I'll take that. I think what it really means, obviously I know myself the most. My grandma died 21 years ago, and I never worked it through, so I never could kind of put that down, and I've always blamed myself for it. And the first house rules grandma. So I kind of never liberated from myself from that. So actually on Wednesday I had some like session for that to kind of let her go. So the 8th and the 1st house and the 4th house, a death of a family member, which which was a significant issue for me, or hopefully it's not anymore. Okay, great, thank you. Do we have any question on that? Can you please send me the $50 coupon for Sirius? Yep, I can send it to everyone if you want. Can you repeat about the karmic aspect that we will be re-experimenting this fall, I think you said, when Pluto is gonna be transiting 25-degree Capricorn, where the south node of Saturn is residing at the moment. So I feel like that's going to be a karmic reset. Yeah, that's going to be kind of a karmic reset, and it's going to reactivate the 21-degree of Capricorn energy, what we went through in 2020 as well. So to be frank, I'm expecting a 4th, 5th or whatever wave to COVID, unfortunately. Okay, let's hope that it's a fall of a government. Okay, that's very possible as well. Yeah, but to be frank, I tend to be using these planetary nodes not so much on an individual life, but I use them in a worldly scale. So something around events and something around financials and so forth, I tend to be using these type of things a lot for investments, especially. However, it doesn't mean that you can't use it for people's personal life. Don't get me wrong. You can just, I feel like it's way too, not necessarily complicated, but the chart becomes very overwhelmed. So I don't want you to look at it from a career perspective. But we would want to be looking at these when we start talking about the financials, what happens to a company, and so forth, what happens to the stock market. We will use that. So that's why I wanted you to know that. But maybe you don't want to be spending way too much time on your own chart, because you've got enough elements in that chart already. Okay, so this is a little bit more for the advanced students. Brilliant. Okay, so do we have any question at all? Oh yeah, I answered that question already. No. Okay, mistaken. We had a couple of homeworks. So can those people type in their, or can they raise their hands so I can actually write down the date? Whose chart will we check in for this week? So, Anna, Marta. So 4 people is raising their hand, but I'm sure there was only 3 charts. So Anna, were you a homework?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We're only looking at now homeworks. Yeah, can I get your date of birth, please?
January 3rd, 1966.
January 3rd, 1966. Yeah, what time?
11:40 a.m.
Sorry?
11:40 a.m.
11:40 a.m. Where?
Santiago de Cuba.
Santiago de Cuba. Here you go. Thank you. So let's see who is going to be analyzing the chart. Who hasn't spoken yet? Andra, please unmute.
Hello.
Hello. So let's see. Oh, we were meant to be looking at blockages, right? So let's look at some of her blockages.
Blockages. So for blockages, we look first the planets around the IC.
Yeah.
And
I'm
out.
just gonna put up the list
I
for
don't
you.
see
1
the-
second. So it helps. Here you go. So do you have any planet around?
So there is no, there is no planets.
That's good. So where is the ruler of the
Yeah.
IC, and does it have any negative aspects?
So the ruler of IC is Moon. And Moon is in second house in Taurus.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so that's a nice moon, right?
yeah. Yes.
So we might believe, oh, there is no issue with her because it's elevated planet. Let's just have a look at if there is any aspect to it.
So Chiron, the moon, yeah. Moon aspects, I see there is a opposition with a Neptune.
Opposition to Neptune. So, and that's oh, I don't know what I've done here. Okay, good. I managed to fix it. Okay, so the moon's closest aspect is, yeah, an opposition to Neptune. That's the only one. And we've got something, a minor aspect with Mercury, but we are not caring about that. That's an in conjunction. Okay, so what can be the Neptunian energy?
So Neptunian energy is very spiritual, artistic,
So how is that a blockage? Remember, this is a blockage.
Yeah, so it could be moon is emotions. Could it be somehow like blocking her to express emotions?
So firstly, you need to analyze moon in the second house. What does moon in the second house mean as a blockage?
Okay, second house, it's self-worth.
Okay, so self-worth, right? So we've got some self-worth issue. Now with that Neptune, what is my self-worth issue? What is Neptune? It doesn't see something, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
Or
see.
Neptune is invisible.
Or you kind of you don't understand your own emotions or something like that.
Yeah, maybe I'm confused about my self-worth. I'm confused about my financials. Maybe I'm not really good at money at all. Maybe the money just flows out of my hands, right? Maybe moon is also can be an indication of when you become a wife. I don't think I'm a good wife, right? What else? Keep going.
Ooh. So Neptune is in Scorpio, so it can be also, I don't know.
Well, what is Neptune? Just think about what's Neptune. It's addicted. So what am I addicted to?
Yeah, it can be, well, it can be money addicted.
I can be money addicted with it. So I don't see the tree. I don't see the tree from the forest, or I don't see the forest from the tree type of energy, because I'm very focused on financials, right? Very possible. Neptune is being deceived, right? So what could that indicate? Who deceived me? What does moon rule?
The family,
family. So the family cheated on me. The family deceived me, maybe in a financial way. Maybe they just told me you're not good enough. You're never going to make it. Come on. Right? One possibility. Remember, one aspect is no aspect. So we're going to want to see this in other places as well. Right? So that's going to be important. Yeah, what else comes to your mind with that Neptune? Let's say Neptune is all about healing.
Yeah, it's about healing. So it can be very difficult with second house. Yeah, healing, I don't know, money wounds or something she could have.
Yeah, so, but of course, I don't know how to heal those money wounds, but maybe there are some money wounds. I just don't know how to do that. Right? So I'm confused about money. I don't even know why money exists. Right? Maybe. And when I look at the rising sign, which is definitely all about survival issues, so maybe the money is going to play a role here. When I look at the sun in Capricorn, which talks about initial challenges in my life, which I have to overcome, maybe she's just coming from a poor family, right? And somehow there is that type of belief system that I can't make more money. I'm not allowed. That's a possibility, right? Someone says maybe the family cut the heritage. Maybe the family cut the inheritance. Someone else says maybe we are emotionally attached to money. Maybe we do shopping binges. Maybe we do emotional purchases because I want to feel better about myself. And therefore, the money just goes out of my hands. Right? But that Neptune is in the partner's money. So how that might play out? Partner's money.
Yeah, so
Andra.
it could be that you really don't know what's going on with your partner's money, or partner
Yeah, I
is
don't know where my
cheating you
partner
with
puts the
money,
money.
in money
Right, the
issue.
money just goes. I don't know where he puts it.
Yeah,
That's possible. We can mention that, right? Okay, so some of them. Let's move on to, thank you, Andra. So let's move on to, let's see if we've got any Chiron influence here. So Jessica, unmute, please. So do we have any Chiron or Saturn aspect which might be giving us some headache? Oh, there is no Chiron there, does it? So let me just
I
put
don't see
Chiron in
Chiron
there.
there, but yeah, because I do have it in my notes. Let's see, Chiron was in the first house. In Pisces, second deacon, Cancer. Or does that matter?
It does matter, but Chiron is only going to be important for us if it's in aspect to our midheaven ruler, second house ruler, or the sixth house ruler. Because those are the work, and we want to be exploring the work environment, right?
Okay.
So yes, Chiron is actually aspecting Saturn because it has got a conjunction to the midheaven ruler, right?
Yes. Oh, there it is, right
So
there.
that's
So,
definitely
yes.
a
Okay,
blockage.
so yes, and with it being in the 12th, that would make it like even harder to kind of define or access to overcome because it's really part of the unconscious. And is that going to be a conjunction to Saturn, or is that too far?
Yeah, I would look at it as a conjunction. So let's just have a look at what we wrote down for Chiron aspects to Saturn. So I need to make that bigger because I can't see. Depressive energy, negative, living in the past, blockages from authority figures because they said you don't deserve to get promoted. Rebellious energy to structure, told working hard for success, fear of being in authority position, but inside want it badly, fear of not getting the respect, so I don't go for higher positions, rigid in front of others, internal voice telling me that I'm not good enough, always stay in line, not taking shortcuts or other paths because need to follow rules. I keep hearing my father's voice in my head. I'm afraid of duties and I'm afraid I can't meet the standards. I'm afraid of growing up because the world sucks. Right?
So that definitely gives me feelings of feeling victimized by the world, or people putting blames on her for no reason, just making everything her fault, her problem, Chiron and Saturn there, and overcoming that, and putting that, like, are we going to talk about some career, some ways that can go into her career?
Right? The question is, does this Chiron Saturn align with the Neptune moon opposition?
Does it align?
So we had some self-worth issues, and we've got some
yes,
self-worth as well.
Yes, it aligns. It would block, yes.
It aligns, right? Moon rules the father. Now Saturn rules the father as well. So, but Saturn rules another parent. So one of the parents is playing bringing some type of wounds for us.
Yes.
Right? And that could be one of the blockages. Okay?
Yeah.
Great. Who is the next one? Has anyone hand? Yeah, we've got Myra. Go ahead. Myra? We can't hear you, Myra. Myra? No, Myra.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just thinking that Neptune is training Chiron, and maybe she needs to put faith back on her self-worth again, something like I can earn my own money type of thing, but I'm not sure if it's relevant.
Yeah, could be. I mean, the Neptune is it opposes Moon, but actually it's trining Chiron, so we can overcome this, and maybe the spiritual department helps there quite a lot. Okay, thank you. Monica, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking there is perhaps because it's in the 12th house, so it's probably an ancestral kind of hand down from the father's side, or some parents inheriting this karma of not it was very volatile with money, because if you're looking at that applying opposition to the Pluto and Uranus in the sixth, with sixth house, I'm thinking that. So I'm thinking it's a very up and down. You can have loads of money suddenly and lose everything suddenly. And perhaps this kind of ancestral thing from the father or family can transfer to the spouse as well, because there's Neptune in the eighth. It's perhaps the spouse works with money or some sort of foreign currency. And I'm thinking the second house moon is like, I need to provide, I need to be the provider through some salaried kind of position. So constantly trying to rectify it in this lifetime for her family, this ancestral kind of inheritance of this chaotic kind of money situation. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at, does anyone hate the midheaven ruler? So Sean, unmute please. Does anyone hate the midheaven ruler at all? Or yeah, does anyone hate the midheaven ruler? Sean, are you there? No, we don't have Sean. Okay, Sam. Sam Colombo. We don't have Sam either. Jessica Hall something. Hall. I can't see your name. Holcomb. Come on, guys. Someone. Jessica. No, just.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So, is anyone hating the midheaven ruler?
Let's see. Oh no, the moon in Taurus likes the midheaven ruler.
So, his Saturn comes up in detriment or fall.
Oh. So Saturn is not comfortable in Pisces, right? But it's like the 12th house, right?
Yeah, but does anyone hate Saturn? So does Saturn come up in detriment somewhere or fall? Do we have Saturn on the detriment line anywhere?
Oh, you're looking over there. Okay, let's see. Yes. Well, no, that's part of fortune, right?
Part
so
of fortune
no,
is not
not really.
important. Any planets? Is there Saturn there?
No.
No. Anything on fall?
No.
No. So that's good news. No one hates our career planet. So that's good to see. Right? Brilliant. Then do we have, what was that? Anything on Zenith? So 9 degree of Capricorn. Do we have anything around?
So we would say the sun is conjunct, right?
The sun. So the sun could be a psychological problem there. So who is the sun? What does the sun rule?
So the sun is the father yet again.
Yeah, so we're going to father image here. And it rules the 5th house. So what could that be?
The son, the father possibly restricting her joy or restricting her childhood.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. And what about a 5th house as in children?
Yeah, so either neglecting his children, having a lot of children.
Not the father, my own children. Oh. How can it be a blockage?
Okay, focusing too much on what the father wants rather than what my children want.
Yeah, but think about it as my own children. So let's suppose that Anna has got her children. Can the children be a blockage somehow in her career? I mean, it sounds harsh, but it can be. But in what ways?
Yeah, I mean, they can be a blockage as far as her not being able to balance children with work life.
Yeah, so maybe because what we said about that Neptune and Moon, that, oh, I need to be a provider, right? So I need to be putting food on the table, Moon in Taurus. So therefore, I'm not going to follow my dreams. I'll wait till the children grow up.
Right.
For instance, that's one scenario, right?
Now with that North Node in the 5th house, so that would impact it, correct? Even though maybe she feels that way, but that is what she should focus on is the children, possibly.
Yeah, she definitely had to focus on children, had to focus on creativity. But what my issue is that the sun is 6 sign away from the 6th house. So that sun is a little bit of a dark house. So I feel like even though Anna has got plenty of talent, I don't think she uses them that much. But let's see what she's got to say. So Anna.
Well, thank you for all the suggestions. One of them were, I mean, most of them were spot on. I do have boundary issues because my father expects me to take care of our family, which we immigrated from Cuba to the United States, so we came with nothing. But I became a CPA, a certified public accountant, so I was making a very good salary. It took me 30 years to get to the top position, but got laid off in October. I got divorced when my kids were 4 and 6 years old, and my ex-husband decided they're yours, so you support them. And all the responsibility fell on me. And yeah, I was more of a mom than I was a wife, you know, in that scenario. I am a workaholic. That Moon Neptune opposition is I do have premonitions. I do see the future. I do have that psychic ability here and there. I can't control it. It comes whenever it wants to. But yeah, so, and then on top of that, my dad does expect me, because I was making a very good salary, to be responsible for my mother because they got divorced. So that one falls on me. I do have that emotional attachment to money in the sense of like, I watch every penny. Well, as an accountant, you know, I watch it anyway. But it's based on my childhood restrictions when I was a kid. You know, the family didn't have money, so, you know, you watch every penny. So yeah, that's, and it's true about following my dream, which is astrology. Although I love accounting and the financials, the balance sheets and all that. I mean, I like doing that, but my dream has always been to astrology, but because I had to support my children, you know, I didn't feel comfortable leaving a corporate job with all the benefits and all the, you know, health insurance and whatever to follow and do my own business, right? So, but fate or whatever you call it caused the event to happen. So that's what I'm going to be pursuing.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So I hope that makes sense how we go about these blockages. So, you know, one blockage is not necessarily a blockage. You can mention it to your client, but it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, we're going to have a blockage there. And don't be fooled by having an exalted planet or even a planet in rulership. That Neptune is not necessarily liking that moon and the Chiron. So you want to be seeing repetitions in the chart. But, you know, at the beginning, you might want to see a lot more into the chart than there is. So, you know, we learn plenty of new techniques here, but, you know, it doesn't mean that you have to use all of it. Okay, so some of those are steroids, more like confirmation to you. or when you kind of feel completely lost, all these planetary nodes, the heliocentric type of things, you know, whatever we learned today, you know, it's kind of like a, you know, just a check-in tool for you to get some confirmation when you kind of have got way too many ideas. So don't overcomplicate it. Great. Who is the next? Hands up with the next homework. Okay, Myra. Myra. Oh, I've got your chart.
Yep.
Is that you?
That's me. You have some
Great.
birthday.
So, yeah, Christina, take it away.
Okay, so February 6th and 1985. I really liked her chart actually because on Placidus she has 4 years and it was very interesting for me. First of all, I'm going to analyze Uranus is Saturn, the ruler of the day, and the ruler of the hour is Venus. So she could be very structural, but also very rebellious. So she could be really like a tug of war going over here. And she really likes to be pretty also, and she likes to have beauty and comfort around her. Then I'm going to check the MC, and it's Capricorn, but I also check its cardinal, right? 27 degrees, that's the third decan, Virgo, mutable, and then right now I wrote it down, that's the Scorpio Dwan. And then I'm going to check where is the ice. So that already tells me she can be very, very structural and she can follow kind of rules. But I'm going to check also the Aquarius sun over here, which she would be amazing with astrology actually. And with that Scorpio Dwan also, and she also would be capable to change, and the Virgo and the mutable over here and healing others. But I think for her karmic astrology and criminal astrology would be fantastic.
But we're looking at blockages, Christina.
Okay, so the blockages, okay, then I'm going to go to IC, right? And
yeah.
then
So
IC,
homework was about blockages.
No, I just started to analyze. I thought you wanted me to analyze the whole chart. Okay, so the blockage is over here, the IC 27 degrees in the third house of Cancer. So that's a Pisces decan and that's Taurus Dwan. So over here in third house, she doesn't have any planets over there. It means the Cancer, it could be an overwhelming mother figure, for example, overprotecting family. Or for example, Pisces decan could be someone who is coming from a very religious family. And you know, it could hold her back because she, for example, if someone is very religious in a way like, okay, we are Christian over here, so it's forbidden for her to use astrology, or so it's forbidden her to use her psychic ability, right? So it could be a blockage over there.
Okay.
I would say. And then I'm gonna check Zenith also because that's a spiritual blockage. Do you want me to talk about that or no?
Well, let's have a look at where the, so let's follow the steps. So where is the ruler of IC?
Okay, so I see Cancer, then we're going to check the moon over here, and the moon, let me see quickly, 5th house in Virgo. So definitely there is a healing and nurturing aspect over here, and she likes children. Most likely she likes to work with children or heal children.
But liking children is not a blockage. Let's focus on blockages.
Okay,
we want to help her to be better in her career. So liking children is not a blockage.
Yes, right. So Virgo, second, so first decan, that's also Virgo. And then maybe very dogmatic. So she over-analyzing things. And that's why her creative self cannot open up, because otherwise she could be very creative. But with that dogmatic, analytical Virgo situation here, it holds her back because she plans everything. Constantly planning, it's holding us back.
Okay, so maybe she was told by the family, right?
Yes.
I see that you need to become a perfectionist.
Yes, perfectionist, exactly.
Right? You have to do a good job. Maybe that was the sentence they used. Maybe they told her you have to be a mom. Family
definitely.
Comes first. No work.
Or why don't you have children yet? Yes, you need to become a mother because you get involved. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so one scenario. Okay. Any hard aspect to that moon?
Well, I only see over here trines and, oh no, there is King Kong. Let me see.
We
No,
don't use that quincunx at the moment. Chiron square in moon.
let me see. Moon. Yes. Okay, and oh, that's Chiron in second house Gemini. That's a person who has struggled financially. So that is a hard aspect over there, because in second house that definitely could be something. You know, like money is an issue over there.
Yeah. So again, maybe very similarly, I need to be a provider.
Yes.
Rather than going after
Then
my
fulfill
dreams.
my dreams. Yeah, rather than fulfill my dreams, I have to have them.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, she was told to be at service of others instead of pursuing her own dreams. That's very possible. Okay, so that's one manifestation of that, surely. So, of course, we're going to have to list it to the clients, and they're going to nod on one of them, surely. So, you know, okay, let's see if Chiron has got any other negative aspects which might be influencing us, apart from moon.
That's Mars, right? It's
Mars is a
another
sextile,
yes.
so it's not necessarily a problem.
Okay.
No, there is no other
No.
aspect. What about Saturn? Do we have an aspect? Of course, it's right on the south nodes.
Yes, Saturn is right on the south node plus in the seventh house. There is Pluto also. So it could be an aspect of, for example, I'm going to find an older husband who can provide for me, because I was the provider earlier for everyone in my family. And that could be that well. But what I saw with Saturn in seventh house and part of Fortune and Pluto, the older husband could actually die earlier and could leave a fortune on her.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that's possible. Or maybe just a divorce.
Yes, but definitely there could be a payout for her by that person.
Yeah, so maybe a significant relationship which kind of got me out of my natural flow, and therefore relationship is somehow blocking me to be happy or to follow my dreams.
Pluto and Saturn could be very controlling. So it could be, yes, relationship could be an issue over there, because the person or the other half could be a controlling figure.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely take that. Does anyone hate the midheaven ruler? Which is Saturn.
Okay, so Saturn, let me see. Who hates Saturn? Saturn is 4. I would say yes.
Yeah, Venus and Mars hates Saturn. So Venus and Mars could be a problem in the 12th house for our career also.
Yeah, there is a lot of, it's emotional, or maybe because of she sees a lot in the future. So she also has psychic ability, but it could be also some kind of mental abuse maybe, or being told you are not pretty enough. And through an older male figure, either a father or an older husband, through an older male figure.
Yeah. Well, Mars rules the 7th house, so it might be a relationship department again.
Yeah. So then it's a husband figure.
So now we started seeing patterns. Relationship seems to be a issue. Okay, so we're gonna ask her what that issue might be, if she's aware of that. Great, thank you. So, Myra.
Hi, Christina. Thank you for the feedback. So, yeah, I come from a religious sort of family where I was told to be perfect, and like you have to wear high heels and put lipstick and all those stupid things.
And maybe wear your hair in a bun as well, no?
Yeah. So
typical
yeah,
Virgo look.
Yeah, exactly. So that was mom and a little bit of my sisters also. So I was always denying those things. And I actually am married to a guy from a different religion in the end. I think comes from that rebellious energy you guys mentioned. And so, yeah, that's true. And yes, I'm very dogmatic and structural, and my husband keeps telling me this and, that I should let go of that. So I just confirmed that with what Christina said. So thanks for that. And all the why don't you have children, it's still something that's coming up until today because I don't have any children, but there's this family pressure. And as you can see, I'm not in my 20s. So yeah, I feel that pressure. And the financial struggles, honestly, I never experienced any like deep financial struggle, but it's been ups and downs in my life constantly. So yeah. And then regarding the relationship department, honestly, I was always looking for this type of guys that put me down all the time. And I've been told in past life readings that there is some karmic, some karmic stuff I need to fix, because it seems like I was abused in my past life, and somehow I remember that. And yes, I do have, my husband and I have sex issues. So yeah, I'm confirming this.
Okay, thank you for sharing. In many cases, when there is 12 house blockages indicating, in many cases, it's very much about karmic issue, which we carry from different different members of the family. So previous generations, kind of like playing the martyr role. Oh, grandma, sorry, you had a shitty relationship, no problem, I'm gonna have a shitty one as well. So, or God knows how many generations before, usually not more than 3 generations. Right. That's what the 12th house could talk about. So you might want to remember that. And sometimes it might not mean anything to the person, right? Because they don't know their grandparents, but they know that something is not right.
Definitely, yes. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And the last homework, who was that? Was it Jessica? Yep. So Jessica, vocation, I'm gonna put that there. Yep. Oh. Yep. Oh. So unmute, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, January 7th.
January 7th.
1994.
1994.
And the time is 7:23 p.m.
7:23 p.m. Yeah.
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Okay, here you go. Great. So, Julie, go ahead.
Okay. So are you going to put the steps back up, or I think I can remember them. So looking at the IC, so the IC being in Scorpio at 5 degrees, and she has Jupiter conjunct the IC there in Scorpio. So that could be magnifying any, and it's in the 4th house. So any childhood kind of deep wounds, or anything that it could definitely be a magnifying
Look
glass.
at what Jupiter rules.
Okay, thank you. So Jupiter rules Pisces, so relationship.
No, that's 8th house, the Pisces.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, 7th. So Jupiter, rules 8th house again. So that's going to be a Scorpio type house, and then as well as 5th house, so children, where the North Node is as well. So and then the ruler of the icy Mars.
What else can that Jupiter mean? What is Jupiter? Big.
Big.
So what could that
that's
indicate? Big, icy.
So yeah, being told she needs to be kind of bigger than life, or with it being
one manifestation, or just a big family. I'm coming from a big family.
Okay.
Right. And sometimes that's a problem because I'm not getting enough attention. So, and what's her rising sign?
So her rising sign, oh yeah, Leo.
So what is Leo craving for?
Leo's craving for attention, and yeah, maybe she's just she's not
I
getting
want
it.
more attention, and no one pays attention to me because the family is too big. Maybe we've got 5 siblings, right? Or 3, or, you know, I'm a middle child, or all those type of things. That could be one manifestation.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so closest negative aspect to
what else could be? If it's one of the parents, what could be the parent doing with a Pisces decan Jupiter?
There could be an addiction.
Maybe daddy is alcoholic, maybe drugs, right? Maybe cheating on, because Pisces comes from the 8th house. Right? And that causes me emotional pain. So that's definitely another ways we can go about that. Right? Yeah, maybe because Jupiter was the 5th house, which is children. So, and the 8th house is pregnancy. So what can that indicate?
That baby, yeah, maybe her parents weren't, maybe she was kind of like a surprise that, yeah, they weren't wanting another baby, or something happened during the pregnancy.
Yeah, maybe I've got too many kids.
Yeah.
Maybe I was always dreaming about having a big family, right? Because I'm copying my parents. Therefore, again, I don't have time to focus on my career. Maybe I had an abortion, right? Maybe maybe just mommy had an abortion. Maybe I had a twin sister or brother, something who passed away. That's also possible. Some type of childhood things seem to be coming with the 5th house.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to live a larger than life type of style, and they told me to be modest. Scorpio is private. Don't be flashy.
Right.
Right? Okay, so any aspects to Mars? Or Mars is going to give us additional information. So where is Mars?
Okay, so Mars is in the 6th house, and it is, it's conjunct Venus again. So we have another chart where the Mars is conjunct Venus. And then, yeah, so Mars conjunct Venus in the 6th. Actually, there's that whole...
Focus on Mars first before you move on to Venus. So what is Mars? Family. What is 6th house?
6th house is health, day-to-day.
Okay, so sick family. So what could that indicate?
Yeah, maybe there was a sick family member, somebody
and then
maybe
I had to look after them,
that
right?
you had to take care of. Yeah, with all that
Right,
stuff.
so I gave up somehow that part, right? We've got a very strong stellium in the 6th house. So clearly, one of the caretaker role, that type of medical field is really suiting her. So maybe it wasn't even a blockage. It might come through as a blockage. It might come through as a blockage, because that's why we made some type of choices around medical fields, right? Or lifestyle, life coaching, and all those type of things what the 6th house could show. So it kind of helped her, but it could be a blockage as well, right? Okay, and then Mars is in Taurian decan, right? And it's on a Taurus, Gemini what?
Yeah, and well, and then so yeah, it's interesting that it's in the Taurian decan because then it has that Mars conjunct Venus, the ruler.
Which is the ruler of the midheaven. So definitely the service industry is serving her, but maybe it's causing her what? Emotional with the Scorpio element. What can it cause?
Yeah, just kind of yeah, emotional pain and
yeah, because what is that Mars? Why does that Mars get out of bed every single day? To become Capricorn. So who Capricorn wants to become?
The leader, the CEO,
the leader, the CEO of my life.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Mars is actually doing quite well in the 6th house. It's exalted. Probably it has got even turn position as well. I mean, phase position. Yeah, it does. It is also in its planetary joy as well. So that Mars does very well. Definitely, she's got the ability to become someone respected.
Yeah.
No, Mars is not combusted. Venus takes the heat from the sun. So combustion is only if there was no Venus there. Venus is combusted, Mars is not. Imagine that we've got 3 planets are lining up. Venus is in the middle, that's the sandwich. So Mars cannot be combusted because the rays of the sun doesn't go on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not a combusted sun.
So,
okay. Right, so yeah, so that's definitely, let's see if we see repetition. So let's go on to Chiron. Interesting, today we've got Chiron in the 2nd house matters.
Yeah. So we have Chiron, 2nd house in Virgo, 1st decan.
What's interesting again here with that Virgo? What house Virgo rules?
Yeah, so it okay, hold on a second. Gemini, so
I mean, traditionally, Virgo, which house does it belong to?
Oh, the 6th, right.
6. So we've got some repetition here again.
Yeah.
Right. So somehow the 6th house is coming. Something around illness, sickness, service, being a slave, and all those type of things are somehow coming into the picture.
Right.
Any aspect to that Chiron?
Let's see.
Negative aspects.
Okay. Oh yeah, just negative aspects. Nothing, and no opposition. And let's see, 9. No.
No, nothing. So that's good. At least Chiron is not bringing anything for us. Okay, what about Saturn? Does that bring anything? Now, what's interesting about that Saturn, even though it might not have aspects, but Saturn rules all that stellium, and it's in the 7th house.
Right. Yeah. So it could bring, challenges in relationships, or if we're looking at career, perhaps business partnerships as well.
Okay, yeah, so maybe some partnership blockages. Maybe I don't know how to partner up with others, right? That could also be a element of a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyone hates the midheaven ruler?
Okay.
So anyone hates Venus?
Let's see. Oh yeah. So the moon puts
the moon, but look at how many planets hates that moon.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars.
Where is that moon? I would definitely focus on that because moon and Jupiter are very hated in this chart.
Yeah.
So this is a very distressed moon, very distressed Jupiter.
Well,
Both
and
in
also
the 4th
if
house.
you look at and if you're looking at the 10th house how Newton, where the MC
the
is.
10th house co-ruler, yeah.
Is that,
So we've got some repetition here. Again, the family comes back very strongly.
Yeah.
The emotional insecurity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Some deep, it seems like what I kept writing in my notes was just kind of deep childhood wounds, and then the moon being the ruler of the 12th house, so kind of hidden private wounds that maybe she doesn't really talk about, or is kind of, tucked under the rug type thing.
Great. Yeah, so let's have a look at what Jessica has got to say for us. Hopefully Jess read the comments as well. So Jess, yep, go ahead.
Hello? Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so yeah, definitely with the Jupiter in the fourth, like you guys were talking about, the kids and a big family. And with it having to do with my childhood, I had my first son when I was 16 years old.
Yeah,
and
I thought
so.
so.
Yeah, I definitely started having children really young, and now I'm 27 and I just had my third daughter, well, my third child. And so far a big family already. Definitely, well, my parents, they've divorced when I was about 5. And I think that brought in a lot of like security issues. We moved around from place to place a lot. With my mom, she didn't have a lot of stability for us.
Do you know
And
that the divorce was very good for you?
yeah, I figured honestly now at this age, I figured, yeah, it was very helpful. I think one part of it was me traveling, actually, which I hated, moving from place to place. But
Why
it
I see that
actually,
it was good, because Jupiter meets the 10th house ruler in 5 units time, age of 5. And that's a sextile. So in one way or another, but it was good for her. And of course, Venus conjunct Mars as well, which is the two parents. And that was very good for you for some reason. Why was it so good, thinking back?
So to me, I think it was good. It very much so broadened my perspective of the world. A lot of people that I know who like grew up in the same town or place and didn't have to move around a lot, like they like have this mindset and they don't want to expand or open up. So even like being into astrology, like it's super weird. I don't have anyone close that I can talk about or be into it with, except my mom, Jupiter in the fourth. Yeah, she was into astrology and just a lot of different things that other people weren't into. And so broadened my perspective. And so now, of course, that can come into play and can help me. But growing up, like I was ashamed of it, that I was into astrology and doing research. I didn't talk to my friends or anyone about it. So it's crazy because just at the end of last year, right before this Saturn Jupiter conjunction, I went public and like I made an astrology page and told everyone that, I do astrology and things like that. And just came out of that fear and that shamefulness of, I do something different that a lot of people here, especially in the South in the United States, don't do or don't accept or see as like something bad or witchcraft. But I also wanted to touch on the stellium because I don't know, I just feel like in a lot of ways it's going to bring a lot of purpose, but in a lot of ways it causes like me to feel stuck in confusion and like so much energy in that 6th house. So I am a nurse, and I came about being a nurse because after I had my second son at age 20, my mom was pretty much like, what if you don't have, your kid's father to fall back on? You need to be able to, provide your own income and support your children. So I went to nursing school, became a nurse. And about a year after I became a nurse, I realized I hated it and I didn't want to be a nurse. So I've been back and forth in school for like the past 5 and 6 years in school, and I had another kid, so that kind of set me back in just getting out of this whole nurse career. But now I'm actually taking this course, and I'm taking an IT course, project management course, and I'm just trying to expand my career opportunities. And yeah, it's been interesting. It was a bit of a struggle, I'd say, but I'm very much looking forward to my Saturn return, which is coming very soon, and it's brought a lot of enlightenment so far. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting older with all of this Capricorn energy.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing. So it's important to look at the blockages because sometimes you might not be aware of the fact that these are actually blocking you from being successful. So it's important. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, it's very important. Great. So we got to the end of it for today. So hands up, whose chart have we not looked at as a homework yet? So Julia, please send me your chart. Andra, send me your chart. Meropie, send me your birth times. And then we're going to be looking at those charts next week. Now, from a homework perspective, I just want you to focus on what we learned today. Apart from the blockages, just look at, please, dispositor, look at, please, the dwads, look at, please. So basically, let's give them a little bit of a career ideas. What type of jobs you would be giving them, or what type of jobs do you think suits them the most? Okay, so going back to our stuff, but kind of look at it from the what we learned today. Don't look at the planetary lunar nodes, but look at the heliocentric ones. So we're going to use the planetary nodes more when we make predictions in the world, or when we make predictions around financial matters. Okay. Other than that, I kind of feel like it might, I mean, it gives plenty extra, don't get me wrong, to your personal profile as well. Some bits and bobs, karmic experiences, but, you know, let's be honest, karma, we either believe it or we don't believe it, right? So, yeah, we need to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt. But definitely talks about things behind the scenes. Great. So thank you very much, everyone. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.